All right, here we go on a Tuesday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you for the next 4 hours. We continue our big game coverage here on your home for the Chiefs. 96.5, The Fan. Coming up in a half hour, we'll go out to Philadelphia. Talk with Eytan Shander of Fox 29. He also does great work over at Odd Shopper. We'll get their perspective on how the Eagles are feeling. How's the fan base feeling there? So we'll check in with Eytan coming up in a little bit. Also later on today, we're expected to hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes in the 11 o'clock hour. It'll
maybe others. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know who else is going to stop by, but we're expected to hear from them. Plus, in the noon hour today, Nate Taylor, who's on the ground in New Orleans. And then we'll check back in with Dusty and Bob. You just heard Dusty speak 2 minutes ago.
They let Mike Florio on their show? Unbelievable.
He had some He had some good stuff to say. We'll play
Did
a little
Andy
bit
retire yet?
Well,
wait, does he have breaking news about Andy's retirement?
Yeah, that's the best part, because we were already planning on talking about Clark Hunt's comments this morning to Bob and Dusty about Andy Reid for a fact coming back next year. And I was like, this is a disappointing day for Mike Florio. And they did ask Florio about Andy Reid retirement columns over the last 3 or 4 years. So we'll play that back at some point again today. But you guys can interact with us on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Cody's branded up today. Ultimate branding, if you're watching on the video stream.
He's got the Fan?
He's got the 96.5 The Fan hat. He's got one of his sponsors. GAN. What I mean, do you have socks that have a different company on them today?
No.
What about your underwear? Is it sponsored today?
No sponsor.
This is the most branded up I've ever seen.
You know, the truth is, this was the closest hat available. I decided I was going to throw a hat on. It was the closest one available.
Fair enough.
And GAN gave me some gear.
There you go.
That I hadn't previously had. And they gave me some for you guys, too. So
that's very nice.
If you would like a hoodie or a quarter zip, those are available.
Nice.
Honestly, I might have more GAN apparel than I have 96.5 stuff. They pretty regularly give me stuff over again. I could use a 96.5 polo or two.
Would like that. I would like that. You're not wrong on that. But no, it's just funny. Who is it? Well, they give
Ricky
him,
Bobby.
Yeah, I was like, just branded up NASCAR driver. You just need something on the back as well. I don't know if there is something on the back. Anyway, let's get things started though here on a Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a great start to their day. Yeah, what's the
Creed is good. I don't think that counts.
That's all right. If it was like a Boulevard shirt, I'd be like, wow, just everything today.
I mean, but like Chiefs are the same as Boulevard. They're a company.
I know, but you get the point.
I support.
It's funny because
I support my company.
Branded hat, branded shirt. Anyway, the Eagles this go around, are they better than the last time they faced? And therefore, are they the best team the Chiefs have faced during this run? I'm talking not just the three-peat portion, the entire dynasty. So go back to even the first year in Miami, and the Chiefs are taking on that time Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. Is this the best team they face? Because I think this Eagles team Sunday is a better team than the team the Chiefs faced 2 years ago and beat in Phoenix. Like, that part is true. I think that the debate to me is whether or not you think this 2024, now 2025 Eagles team is better than the Niners team from last year. Because I know when I say the two QB names, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, everybody's going to gravitate towards Jalen Hurts, understandably so. But I'll remind you how great Brock Purdy was playing a year ago. I know the name's
he
tough.
didn't start till like week 9 or something,
but
man. He's a rookie, second year, whatever.
He was playing better football entering the postseason and the playoffs last year, Brock Purdy was, than Jalen Hurts was. Jalen Hurts is coming off his best game of the season, though. So that's my dilemma here. I actually think this Eagles team is probably better, but, man, defensively, some of the names, too. Fred Warner on the defensive side of the ball for them, coupled with running back-wise, okay, McCaffrey and Barkley, given where they both were at, I would say almost equal based off of where they were entering. Not what McCaffrey was this year. He didn't play. But Barkley is having a career year. Chris McCaffrey, everybody was talking about him being an MVP candidate a year ago. Brock Purdy
he was Saquon. I mean, just as good. I mean, he's having as big of a year.
So the question for me is more like, do you think that the defense is better in Philadelphia than the Niners' defense from a year ago? And that's where I think the dilemma is.
So Philadelphia currently has the number 1 ranked points per game defense in the NFL. I assume later in this week I will go ahead and supply you with the stats to let you know that when Patrick Mahomes faces the number 1 ranked defense in the NFL, it goes fine for him, not as good for the defense, who was previously ranked number 1. He is historically very good in those spots. I was trying to think through it. First, if it's including in the ones they lost, the answer is the Bucs. Because Tom Brady is not just the best quarterback in NFL history from a statistical standpoint. He is far superior to any other quarterback they have had to face.
Sure.
Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, and Jalen Hurts are the three quarterbacks they have faced in a Super Bowl other than Tom Brady. Tom Brady is like...
That's also the only one they lost, so it's very easy. I'm with you. Like,
sure. I also think that at that time they had they had some really good defensive players all in their prime, all together. Once the receiving unit for that team, really deep in their prime, in their 20s. This isn't like an aging Mike Evans or those were guys who had it. They still had Gronk on that squad, so they could get you a tight end. And they had one of the best offensive lines in the league. So that was a really difficult matchup. I think it's the second most. I actually think the Eagles from 2 years ago was tougher than this one. Really? And I think we're rewriting history based on the fact that they won that game. That Eagles defense was better than this one. That Eagles defense had an all-time elite-level defensive line. And they weren't slouchy in the secondary either. That was an overall, the league's best defense. Everyone knew it was the league's best defense, and there were no real questions about it. The only argument I would say on the opposite is they're obviously better wide receiver.
Yeah, they're
better at running back, and Jalen Hurts is presumably better because he's now been in the league a few years. So the defense for Philly's way better. The offense is better, but in a weird way, and this is where I guess I would give it to the edge a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, I felt like offensively they liked themselves more. It doesn't make any sense because Saquon, having confidence in the passing game to me existed more 2 years ago than it does now, even though they have A.J. Brown, because throwing for less yards per attempt. And I know some of that's because of Saquon.
Jalen Hurts been hurt this year, too. He's missed a couple games. He hasn't been right. I think that's part of it. The Bucs won. Yeah, I guess I should have phrased it better. Out of the ones they won then, because, yes, I mean, it's also, you're saying not to cloud your judgment because they won. I would also say the Bucs team, while very, very good, the Chiefs O-line was down to their third and fourth string.
Yeah, for sure.
And that was the
Don't
one.
Don't cloud it because they lost. Sure.
And they lost. So I think you're probably right. It probably works both ways for that. There's no doubt the Bucs... considering the quarterback, I'll hear on the quarterback argument, it's a no-brainer. Tom Brady, of course, was the best QB they faced.
That's the hardest thing to shake from a swing department.
And then people on the text line are factoring in the coaching aspect, too. And I know people are crapping on Kyle Shanahan for how he handled overtime, but still, as a play caller,
he's the
player. Best play caller they faced during the Super Bowl run.
And those are probably the best weapons.
I mean, that's pretty fair.
Debo, Christian McCaffrey, Kittle, the world's best left tackle. I mean, look, I'm not trying to, knock down what they did, but it's Brock Purdy.
I know, but that's a name thing.
Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's
but that's a name thing. Brock Purdy at this time last year was playing better football than Jalen Hurts is currently. I'm not saying their career, who's going to be the better quarterback. I'm talking about just entering the Super Bowl overall, who was playing better football. Brock Purdy was.
But I'll say, and obviously now I get the victory of hindsight where I obviously got to watch Brock Purdy be a starter for that good chunk of time. So, he started the entire season for him. He had 4,200 yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 picks. He had a tremendous year going into the Super Bowl. And the year before, when he was a rookie and he came in and eventually lost in the playoffs, he was pretty good. And he was his numbers are still probably on par as far as passing touchdowns and yardage as Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying it's way off this year, but I had doubts then too about Purdy because you're for me, it's the Shanahan part. So, if we're including coaching in this too, I think I could probably make
Kyle Shanahan's the best coach still of the group that they have faced during these runs.
Because this goes the opposite is how much better do you think this team is versus any of the other ones they've been dragging into the Super Bowl? Last year, the difference is I knew the Chiefs had the league's best defense, Not just this year's defense is not as good as last year's. It's still good, really good, but it's not as good as last year's. But the offense is better, and then I just get into the same challenges where last year when I look at what they were bringing to the Super Bowl from a weapons perspective, even if this is the best team they have faced in the Super Bowl, this overall team is better than last year's team. Last year's team took a really long time to find itself. This year's team did not do that. They won 15 games. They had one of the league's best defenses. They're significantly better on offense. I think people are just skewing this year's team because of all the one-score win stuff.
A couple of the people on the text line, 913-586-7965, saying, let's not forget Antonio Brown, part of that Bucs team. That was before he went off the deep end as well.
It was
loaded. Yeah, it was a loaded team that the Chiefs ran into a buzzsaw. in 2020, and then their own injuries as we discussed. And that's part of still the scenario for this go around is the health of the team. How much healthier the Chiefs are entering this Super Bowl than they've been for really any of these other ones. We went back and looked yesterday, I remember, other than the 2019 Miami one in Miami when Juan Thornhill was out, they were pretty healthy in that one when they beat the Niners the first go around. I still think this is the healthiest the Chiefs have ever been entering a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And that's a huge deal considering how late in the season we are.
I went ahead and looked it up. Tom Brady finished with, and I did not remember this, 40 touchdowns and 12 interceptions that year and 4,700 yards. They had Godwin and Evans and Gronk and Antonio. You're like, and it was like the Devin White, Levante David, Shaquille Garrett, or Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
I'm not like, other than Sue, I'm not saying it was like littered with Hall of Famers. It just happened to be like they had all these really, really good defensive players, all at the absolute, like, other than Sue, probably peak of their careers. Like the best time to have them. They're like mid-20s and just balling out. So, I don't know. I mean, and it might be because they lost it. I know that I kind of lean towards that, but
yeah.
It's like, it feels like a run-of-the-mill one to me. Like, this year's team is not like the toughest. It's like third, second, I don't know. It's in the middle.
Last night was opening night down in New Orleans. You guys probably saw, if you haven't, check out our social media, specifically Instagram, 96.5 The Fan. Bob, Dusty Mack were there in New Orleans doing a great job. They had some content. I think they talked to Tech 9. I saw Dusty had a photo with Pat Sajak's daughter as well. That is something we'll have to talk to Dusty about in the 1 o'clock hour today, for sure. But there was some highlights we wanted to bring you from that, including Clark Hunt. He was on with them this morning. We know the rumors every Super Bowl Radio Row. Mike Florio puts out a column talking about retiring for Andy Reid, right? Andy Reid's retirement. This is what Clark Hunt said about Andy being back next year and beyond.
Yeah, I was always surprised when I heard those rumors because I know how much fun Andy's having. He in a lot of ways I think is rejuvenated by the success the team's had. Certainly, he's matched with the quarterback that's a perfect complement for him and Patrick. And I know he loves what he's doing. I'm glad we haven't heard any of those rumors this year. I know for a fact he's going to be back next year, so we'll get there when we get there. But I think Andy loves what he's doing and he's going to do it for a long time.
He knows for a fact Andy's going to be back next year. And then the guys...
For a fact?
Yeah, for a fact.
I don't know who'd be questioning that at this point, but okay.
Well, the guys had Mike Florio on about 20 minutes or so ago, and they asked him, hey, man, what's going on with this retirement stuff?
No offense, I'm glad you were wrong on that one. We get to keep Andy.
Let me clarify, because people believe what they want to believe, and they take whatever they hear and they twist it into something other than what I actually said. The Chiefs were bracing for the possibility he was going to retire after last year's Super Bowl. That is 1,000% true, if that's even mathematically possible, and I know it's not. But they were bracing for the possibility he was going to retire. Now, was it a leverage play to get his contract fixed? Maybe it was. Maybe if they weren't going to fix that contract, he gets to a point where he says it's not worth it for whatever he was making before. He got his raise, and now he's locked in. He'll catch Bill Belichick if he can physically continue. He might catch Don Shula as long as it takes for him to get there. But, yeah, he's locked in, and he's still there. But as of last year, the Chiefs were bracing for the possibility because they were scoping out potential replacements. That's how I knew about it. They wanted to be ready in the event that Andy Reid walked away. That's 100% or 1,000% or 1,000,000% true. At the end of the day, he didn't. He got his contract, and now it's not even a question. It's not even a question whatsoever. He's going to continue.
So that's Florio's explanation of why he reported what he did last year and the year before. Okay. All right. By the way, we call that. Sorry, I'm moving my. I'm backtracking. I'm moving my chair back at the same time that Florio was talking. That's what it felt like to me.
Hey, we're 100% prepared. Were they? Was there a single member of anyone in the front office that ever even pretended to take that serious? Who was the janitor? Who was sussing out potential head coaching candidates? Was one dude's job in the building to have a 5-year plan? Like, he's the 5-year guy. Hey, Steve, we know you're the 5-year guy. Hey, real quick, you're in the building. Go tell us what it'll look like to find a head coach in 5 years. Like, are you kidding? Like, I can't believe we're getting back into this again, and having to do this. Now, look, he's not claiming that they're bracing internally for the possibility of.
No, he's now he's flat out saying,
Seems like
"Oh no,
just-
things are good to go." Now he's saying that I just don't buy the contract leverage angle of it. Like I don't think Andy Reid was threatening to retire to get a contract last year. A contract extension or a new deal. I just don't buy that. I'm not saying that people don't use leverage in contract negotiations. Of course they do. But I just don't buy that was why heading into the Super Bowl, Andy Reid had his agent busy floating out there that he might retire because he was worried that Clark Hunt was going to give him what he wanted. I just call complete BS on that.
Interesting that Florio now would say that. And I just, again.
He was CYAing and backtracking. That's fine.
Here's why, why is it so hard to admit this every once in a while? He was wrong, and someone gave him bad information. You know what happens? Sometimes when you're like an NFL reporter and you're given a source and all this other stuff, you're given bad information. Someone inside either, and I know this for a fact that teams have done this, sometimes teams leak information to one person because they want to find out what they'll tell. Hey, man, don't tell anybody.
Well, they want to find out who the leak is, yeah.
Yeah, and find out who the leak is or anything else in between. So maybe they told, again, Steve down in Office 4 that they're kicking around the idea of letting Andy Reid go. Florio got it from that guy, and Veach is laughing because he's like, oh, got it. It's him that keeps feeding Florio this information that isn't telling the truth. Because that's all it is. Ugh. I'm glad to hear Andy, though. Travis was talking about his retirement, too. His big retirement talk last night,
At Media Night, he was asked, where does he see himself in 3 years?
Where will I be in 3 years? Oh man, I don't know. Hopefully, still playing football. I love doing this. I love coming into work every day, and I feel like I still got a lot of good football left in me. But we'll see what happens. I know I've been setting myself up for other opportunities in my life, and that's always been the goal. Knowing that football only lasts for so long, you got to find a way to get into another career, into another profession, and I've been doing that in my off seasons. But for the most part, I plan on being a Kansas City Chief and playing football.
This sounds terrible. When he starts saying 3 years from now, I hope I'm a Kansas City Chief and still playing football, I honestly start worrying that there's less of a chance he comes back. 3 years? He's not playing for 3 years, is he?
Does anybody think that? You know what I mean? He's got a year left on his contract. This is different than when we're talking about Andy. This is a football player, and at some point we just know that the shelf life is shorter. I didn't take it that way, though maybe the way you did. He's been open before discussing that, he knows that he's on the back end of this thing and that there's not a ton of time left and that eventually he's going to have to do something else. He's said that publicly before. I didn't take it as something completely new.
3 years seems.
Well, the question, in fairness, the question was, where do you see yourself in 3 years?
Said, I hope I'm still playing football.
He didn't just come up with the 3 year thing. Someone threw that towards him. I didn't take a whole lot out of that. I think I'd be stunned if he's playing in 3 years just because of the contract situation. I think the debate here in Kansas City has been, is this his final game? I think most people recognize that if he's playing next year, that next year's it, right? I don't think anybody believes he's playing 3 years from now.
If you guys did miss it,
okay.
Clark Hunt had said that he thinks that Travis Kelce is enjoying it.
He said that with, you can listen to the full interview, Bob and Dusty. They asked him about his future. That was something also that did come up. Absolutely.
I'll just say, when you think about it, it makes sense for Travis to keep playing for the final year of his contract. He's a businessman, making business decisions. He's still a high-level tight end who's performing in the postseason. And I know up to this point, he has said that he doesn't care about records. I know that he is, he's talked about it in his podcast. He's talked about it from the, he chose Gold not to go for the 13 yards, to get the 1,000. He could have gone for another 80 yards again this year and tried to go for the 1,000 again if he wanted to in the final week of the season. But those Jerry Rice numbers have got to be a little different, don't they? Jerry Rice postseason numbers, and he needs one more postseason run, and he'll pass him for all of them. Yards, touchdowns, receptions, pretty much. I mean, he's already got receptions. And the other one, he's probably in that same boat. And so, I would just, I don't know. I don't like when he's like, 3 years, I hope I'm still playing football. I'm like, that now it just seems like you're lying to me.
Yes, I didn't take it that way as much because, again, the question he was asked was, where do you see yourself in 3 years? It wasn't if someone didn't say, how long do you think you can do this? And then he didn't just say, well, in 3 years from now, I'm not sure. That was the year he was given, so I didn't read too much into that. I'm with you, though, that next year, no matter what happens here, next year feels like it would be it. It's final year of the contract, the money that's on the line, the records that are on the line. The unknown thing that I don't think he even has an answer to yet is what's the feeling like if you three-peat? And what's the feeling like if you have the disappointment of losing on Sunday? Does the loss motivate him even more to come back? Does the loss just tell him, all right, this is the end of the run? Does a win say, man, this is as good as it feels? Why keep going? Or does it say,
see
man,
how you feel at the end?
Or does it mean that, man, I can do this again? Why would I stop? Like I don't think he maybe even knows like what that's going to feel like. I think it's going to. What's that like when the clock hits 0 on Sunday night? And is it a celebration? Is it everybody being down? And how does that change his path? I really think he doesn't know yet. I honestly believe that.
I would think that like if you're a guy like Travis Kelce, why get into it just yet? And why try to source that just yet? We'll see. One other weapon I saw last night, maybe they should go get Cooper Kupp. Problem solved, everybody. They need another possession-type weapon. For the Chiefs, they'll just trade for Cooper Kupp, who, by the way, his statement clear, just as Luka's, his statement made it pretty clear. He had not requested or thought about being traded from the Rams, but instead they straight up told his ass, we're seeking a trade for you, so please prepare yourself accordingly.
Did you see Puka's tweet as well afterwards? He was like, I thought this was NBA trade season.
Yeah, no, man. They're telling Cooper Kupp to kick rocks.
They are. And now they said they'll work with him on trying to find a destination. They're going to try to do right by him. But
he says he wants to compete. He wants like a winning team.
Yeah, of course. I mean, nobody wants to be traded to the Cleveland Browns or something like that.
My God, that's just mean. You can't do that to somebody.
It's interesting, the offshore odds are out there, and Pittsburgh is the favorite offshore right now to land Cooper Kupp. We'll see. The issue with Kupp and the reason why the Rams are moving on, which, one, they have Puka. The other part is Cooper Kupp has struggled to stay healthy the last 3 years. I mean, that's just a fact. He has missed at least 5 games, I think it is, the last 3 years. I think it was 8, 5, and then another 5 this year. So, therefore, the numbers have been impacted. He could definitely help your team, but there's some durability questions at this point, and I think the Rams are probably a little sick of having to deal with that and navigate that throughout the season.
Yeah, and they fear they can just feed Puka. Look, this goes down to the same level, I would say, for Hollywood, as I was leery with that. I'm going to be leery of Hollywood again. Like I'd be leery of Cooper Kupp for the same reasons. If you can't be on a football field, I am concerned about your availability. Hollywood Brown, in the last 3 years, has not played a full season. He has missed the same amount of games we're talking about, actually more, because this year he missed all but 2 games. And is now playing in the Super Bowl, so great. He's healthy at the right time. But if I were a free agent team, I'd be like, all right, we're looking at Hollywood Brown. He can't be on a football field, so do we want to enter long-term? The problem with Cooper Kupp, I'd say it's kind of mixed. I would be interested in Cooper Kupp if he's willing to rework his contract, because he's actually not that expensive considering what wide receivers cost. And for Kansas City, the reason why it would be intriguing for me versus some of the other teams who I think will actually be a bigger player in this is they are paying nothing to wide receivers next year. So if there's a time to pay $20 million for a wide receiver, now's the time. Rashee Rice is free. Xavier Worthy is free. All the other receivers on their roster are free. So, if I'm going to pay a veteran, not a bad time to do it, but it would have to come at a significantly reduced cost, which is probably not going to happen for Cooper Kupp anyway.
I just struggle to see Brett Veach trading for a 31-year-old wide receiver. And you'll be like, whoa, you just did that, Gold, with DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, but the money and the compensation.
He gave him a 5th-round pick.
It's not the same thing. Are they going to really have that kind of dollar amount?
Historically, no.
And that's what would be surprising, for this. The top landing spots offshore, Houston, Pittsburgh. Those are the top 2 that are listed offshore, and then also the New England Patriots, which actually makes a lot of sense for New England. Drake May, young quarterback. They got cap space. They got a brand new head coach. They don't have a whole lot of weapons. That'd be a nice piece if you're Drake May. Have a veteran that can really help you. That makes a lot of sense if they could put together a package to make that work. And I don't know if Cooper Kupp wants to go to New England, but they still will do right by him. It doesn't mean he gets ultimate say. It means that, hey, we'll try if this is a place you want to go to.
I don't know why you'd want to go. I mean, look, there are worse spots for Cooper Kupp. He is used to being not at the mountaintop. He's obviously won a Super Bowl for them, but they are a contending team every year. They contend for the division. They contend in the playoffs. Things can happen for the Rams, a break here or two, and they can go that way.
There was rumblings for a while when the Rams were struggling at one point that they were going to trade him midseason. Remember, that was a thing for a bit. And they ended up going on a run and winning a playoff game, I guess it was. So in that regard, I guess it was good they held on to him. But our big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Member-owned, open to all, invested in you. Join today at communityamerica.com. Up next, we'll get the Philly perspective on this Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl. Eytan Shander from Fox 29 and Philly's going to join us. We'll ask him about this Eagles team compared to a couple years ago. Next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold once again, telling you about our friends over at Centric, and we've all been dealing with this brutal weather in Kansas City. Maybe you work outside, and look, you've just had enough. Well, you can start a brand new career with our friends over at Centric, because they allow you to advance your career on your time with their flexible schedule.
Classes start in February. You get to choose your curriculum, go with that new career path, and stop worrying about what the weather will do for you. Call our guy, Russ Mondry. He's been with Centric for 16 years and will be with you to guide you every step of the way. Go to Centric.com now.
Rally House.
Shop every team in town.
College.
And pro.
Come on, it's time to go.
We're New Orleans bound, KC. Shop the largest selection of Chiefs, AFC champions, and Super Bowl gear at Rally House. New postseason styles arriving daily.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State. Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House.
Rally House.
It's your city, it's your house. It's the Rally House.
Limited quantity. Selection varies by location. Shop rallyhouse.com.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
The FanDuel Kick of Destiny is happening on Sunday, and this time it's every Manning for himself. This Super Bowl, two legends will take the field in a sudden death field goal showdown, Peyton against Eli. Live from New Orleans, one kick to claim ultimate family bragging rights. Who will rise to the moment? Pick your winner now in the FanDuel app, and if you back the right brother, you'll earn a share of $10 million in bonus bets. It's the FanDuel Kick of Destiny 3. Make your free pick, and don't forget to tune in to watch the showdown live during Super Bowl 59 pregame show on Fox at 3 p.m. Eastern. May the best Manning win. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to bet with FanDuel, an official partner of Super Bowl 59. 21 and present in Kansas. No purchase necessary. Bonus issue with non-withdrawable bonus bets. It expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
The county just requested more electric charging stations.
Orders have really amped up at Able Electric.
We need 3 more at First and Main, and we just got another hotel chain.
It's no shock. Able Electric needs able electricians.
Grocery store wants charging stations too.
And fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. Here's the best part. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Not happy? They'll come back between visits to make it right. Don't wait. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Your life, your goals, your legacy. With a dedicated Fidelity advisor, it's all part of a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE, SIPC.
Okay, so that's with bacon, cheese, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, ketchup, and hold the pickles.
You know what you like. You wouldn't order your burger just any way. Why should your sports talk be any different? With Chapters on the free Odyssey app, you can choose the topics that matter to you most. Whether it's reactions, matchup previews, injury updates, or team news, quickly find what you really care about. Your football talk, your way. Download the free Odyssey app and start listening today.
This report is brought to you by CareNow Urgent Care. Find one near you at carenow.com.
CareNow Urgent Care has 15 Kansas City area locations open 7 days a week. From injuries and illnesses to school and sports physicals, CareNow Urgent Care is here to help you feel better fast. Find a location near you at carenow.com and use our convenient web check-in today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. Coming up in a second, we're going to head out to the Pheasant Fest Hotline. National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic coming to the Kansas City Convention Center March 7th to the 9th. Visit pheasantfest.org. We're about also 15 minutes away from Roger Goodell's comments yesterday in regards to that 18th game. I don't know if fans even want an 18th game, but it sure sounds like that is in the works with the NFL, and ultimately the NFLPA will probably cave because that's typically how this thing works. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for the Chiefs. Let's go out and welcome in Eytan Shander from Fox 29 in Philly. He also does great work for Odd Shopper. Eytan, it's good to have you back on, man. 2 years ago, I think we were talking to you, and the story after that was about holding calls, and it was about field conditions and all that. I hope we can all agree that let's just let the results stick for themselves on Sunday night, please,
Well, while I will concede, fellas, and it's a pleasure always, and great to hear your voice, Cody, of course, and Alex. But let me just say this. They're all playing on the same team, field, pardon me. So the conditions, I get it. But you will deal, and it's not my fault, and I can't do anything about it. No matter what, it is inevitable that there will be a call. Like, it doesn't matter if you believe in conspiracies or not. The fact is, the stone-cold truth is that there will be a call that goes Kansas City's way at some point in this football game, and that's going to open up the floodgates. I'm already preparing for it here because I can't deal with 6 months of off-season excuses of, they had to beat the refs again. Don't watch the football game if that's what you think. And I've told people that in Philadelphia, mind you.
Is Nick Sirianni more likely to go the D'Amico Ryans route where it's like, well, I told our guys we were screwed from the beginning? Or, the classier route, which is just, sometimes things get out of your way.
I think he's best when he's getting out of the way, right? Like, I think that's truly where Nick Sirianni is at his height of being able to facilitate a winner in the NFL. When he's had to step in and coordinate, when he's had to step in, and even when he's lost, technically that's what happened, control of the offense and is now a game manager in its loosest sense, the more he gets involved, calling a timeout, it can be a 2-point conversion. It can be going for it on 4th down versus kicking it, things that don't look like they're consistent. That's where I think he could get in trouble. And look, let's be honest here. As great as a record is, it makes me sick where people are now coming out and saying like, he and Andy Reid and, Bill Belichick are the only 3 to do this. And it's just, it's ridiculous because it's not just putting out a stat. It's putting him in an area that he's just really not. I'll tell you what he is. He is a great friend of these players. He is a great connector of these players, and he has found out, and I think this is something special that not enough people bring up because they're too busy propping him up as the next Andy Reid or Bill Belichick. But one thing that Nick Sirianni does really well, guys, and I think maybe he took a page out of Pete Carroll, maybe he didn't, but he's able to relate and connect with people on an individual level on that team to where no matter who he's walking around in the locker room, he has a special relationship with that player. And maybe the argument is, because he doesn't have time to, game plan and call all these. Whatever the case is, he's found that, and he's tapped into that. And I think that's why you see these guys so loose and so excited to play for him.
We're talking to Eytan Shander, Fox 29 in Philly. All our guests brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Drink responsibly. We were having a discussion earlier looking at the Chiefs' run in the last couple of years here, and where does this Eagles team stack up in terms of the toughest opponent? I'll ask you just on the Philly comparison from 2 years ago. Is this a better Eagles team than 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think the biggest reason is Vic Fangio, right? I mean, you guys looked on the other side of the field 2 years ago and you saw a couple of bozos. One of them, I think, was gone by then, right? I mean, think about this. Say this out loud. The Eagles ended a Super Bowl run with Matt Patricia as the defensive coordinator. And what chance did they have, right? It doesn't make any sense. Vic Fangio is heading to Canton, rightfully so. I mean, this guy's a master coordinator, and he's got a ridiculous defense, even better. And I hate to say it because nobody respects Steve Spagnuolo more than I do, that you will talk to, at least in Philadelphia or beyond. Love Spags. But what Vic Fangio has done is just led, I think, at least ranked an overall better defense. So it's going to be 1-2. I know I'm splitting hairs here, but that's the biggest difference. I think we saw what happened from an offensive standpoint, right? Jalen Hurts in this offense can get hot. You guys know that. Saquon Barkley is probably the other answer. Maybe I buried the lead, but I think the defense is going to be the reason why the Eagles compete or even have a shot in this game, not necessarily Saquon. But Barkley on the other side and what he's been able to do is a cheat code with the offensive line.
We know that, defensively, it was the defensive line, right? They had set a record for sacks in a single season by a team a couple of years ago. What is the strength of their defense now? What do they hang their hat on?
I tell you, this defense, and it feeds back into why this team is better, this defense is more complete. They're every level, they have somebody who can just dismantle you. And that's rare. And I think what you're seeing also is a balance of the youth infusement, right? And you can look at Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell in the secondary, and these guys have really stepped up as rookies and just played exceptionally well and fit right into what they've asked. And that helps when you've got young guys in the defensive backfield that are essentially stoppers, right? They're like centers, not Joel Embiid, another center in the NBA, right? That can actually protect the rim and give you an ability to take some risks. We've seen, Braun has reinvented his career in 1 year. The guy came to play special teams. He's a Pro Bowler. And, we have to talk Jalen Carter up front. This is a menace of a human being, and he is a disruptor. He is a massive disruptor, and he doesn't stop talking on top of that. So Vic Fangio has luxuries. He has the liberty to take some risks. Vic Fangio has some freedoms now because he's got all three levels of that defense really, I think, on an equal plane of being able to attack and dismantle depending on what they go up against.
I think last week was Jalen Hurts' best game of the season. What's the feeling in Philly around his play this year and I guess the confidence that he can take the load? Because we know 2 years ago, a lot of people believe he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl despite losing.
Yeah, I think the fumble, right, is what people come back, right? They come back to, sorry. I think the fumble is what people come back to. And they say, well, that was the biggest difference between Mahomes and Hurts. Look, this is how much we care about the Super Bowl. I got a toddler in the background crying, and I'm on the interview here because this is what matters most.
What's the toddler mad about? Maybe we can help.
Well, my 3.5-year-old kicked a chair, and it happened to hit him on the head. So he's fine. Everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. Don't worry. But I think when you look at Jalen Hurts overall, and you look at this offense, this team can do so many special things that I think the overall impression and feel is don't make a mistake. And you know what? Sometimes that means taking a sack or three. Sometimes that means don't take a risk down to Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. So I actually think you'll see a concerted effort for him to move the ball in the air. We talked Dallas Goedert would probably be an obvious target, Smith as well in the secondary. But I think you're going to see more of the same, which is let the guys make plays, don't force throws, and probably take a couple of sacks. I think the fumble is the biggest thing driving Jalen Hurts from 2 Super Bowls ago because you're right. That was the difference. And I don't care who you are. You go up against LeBron, you go up against Mahomes, you go up against Brady, you go up against any Jeter, any GOAT, and you're that close. and then you get a shot again. How does that not stick with you? How does that not drive you?
So I think internally, like, people always ask the question, right? Does the 3-peat become a distraction? Do you go for these things? They become bigger than that. Can that happen to Philly? Can it go the opposite way where they're just like, well, we got to take down Goliath, and you can oversell yourselves? Like, can Sirianni or the team get themselves in trouble trying to win more than just a game, but instead stop a dynasty from being a 3-peat?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, right? Like, I think this team has the history of being there 2 years ago, and I think that's where that might balance out enough of it. And I think that's a really good question. I don't disagree with it as far as it could happen. I think, honestly, if they get undone, if they get beaten, if there's a loss at the end of the night, don't blame the refs. The Chiefs are just a better football team. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time, and I think settles that with what he's able to do. So I think, yeah, maybe they did get a little too ahead of themselves, and maybe it was the extra week, or maybe it was the fact that they really are buying into themselves too much, and they didn't have that sense of humility that they did the first time around, at least with the offense, right? And they just lost because of bad defensive coaching. So I think there is some of it. And look, if that does happen, it's going to be obvious because Nick Sirianni is going to be undone. He's not a good poker player, fellas. He can't hide his emotions. And that's why he has Big Dom, the chief of security, as his basically babysitter, right? I mean, that was public reporting. So I think that's the issue is your question is going to be answered on the body language of Nick Sirianni. If they're down 10-0, if they're down 13-0, if this is something where it's like, what's going on here? And he's undone, then absolutely. I think you go back to the fact that this was a moment that was simply too big for him, even though he was just here 2 years ago.
Before we let you go, Eytan, I know you got to run. You do great work also over at Odd Shopper. So give me from a Philly angle, give me the best Eagles bet that even in Kansas City we should be making.
Well, the best Eagles bet ever was the one that I gave out on April 29th, which was 17-1 to win the Super Bowl, but nobody can bet that anymore. So I tell you what, I'll have some fun with you guys. I'll give you a quick little parlay here. It's a little over 23-1. This is the I like Kansas City to win parlay, same game parlay. You ready?
Let's hear it.
All right, under 110.5 Barkley rushing yards. It's dipped a little bit, but it hasn't dropped a ton. Over 55.5 Worthy receiving yards. Kareem Hunt anytime TD. Chiefs money line. Over 49.5 Goddard receiving yards. And then the kicker in here is over 9.5 Juju longest reception.
Ooh, the Juju. Okay. Interesting.
Just watch him in the AFC title game rip off a couple of those, I guess.
That's right. Look, and okay, if you want just solo ones here, I think the two best ones that I like are Devontae Smith anytime TD. The Eagles are going to have a lot of opportunities, one-on-one coverage. Kellen Moore, I know he's gone, but he's going to be creative with Devontae, and I think they get him the ball quick, and there's going to be some deep threats there too. So he's a guy I take a look at as an anytime. And then Worthy to catch a pass in the Chiefs' first drive. Looking at script, Marquise Brown, I know they're trying to work him in, as you guys know, from a script standpoint, but what happens when stuff breaks down and you have to move away from the script? There may not be a better receiver when something breaks down than Worthy. And I also think, too, that there's a chance, the run game and lack of, he could probably get a quick throw to him. So I like him to catch a pass in the first drive for the Chiefs.
Eytan Shander, Fox 29 in Philly, also with Odd Shopper. Appreciate it, man. Great to hear from you. I guess maybe we'll be doing this every couple of years the way it's working out now.
Let's hope.
There you go.
We got to just win one. Thanks, guys.
There you go. Eytan Shander, all our guests brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City's gearing up for their third straight title, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during their historic run. I definitely we typed that parlay into the rundown. We might have to just throw $1 or $2 on that thing.
Just see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with them on a couple of them. Like the Juju one is very volatile though because
that's tough.
But I think the Worthy one, we're like, I'm waiting for the Barkley number to keep getting bet higher and higher because I'm going to eventually take the under on the Barkley rushing yards. I'm waiting for it to creep
because
higher.
It's gone 14 straight games since they allowed even an 80 or 90 yard or 100-yard rusher, I guess it is.
Running back, right? Because Lamar had over 100 in week 1 or whatever. But appreciate Eytan. Good perspective from him on this Chiefs-Eagles matchup.
Like, I understand
Sounds like, again, he has the Chiefs winning because he just told us a Chiefs money line bet. So I believe he has the Chiefs winning.
So his stance on they are better because they have a significantly better defensive coordinator. I'm actually not arguing that they have a significantly better defensive coordinator. As a text line points out, as we've talked about, the one problem with that is Vic Fangio, as either a defensive coordinator or a head coach, is winless
8-0, man.
against him. That man hadn't beaten him yet. And so there are some stats to support that actually Fangio's done better against Mahomes statistically than he does against most other coordinators, but it ain't resulting in wins. And so that part of it's always a challenge.
And like most stats, context is needed. When we brought up this stat last week or early this week, last week I guess it would have been, Vic Fangio had Bridgewater and Locke as his quarterback in Denver, but still, Fangio is not the defensive coordinator like Anarumo or Belichick that have shut him down for a half before. That's all I need to know. I'm not saying Vic Fangio is not a great defensive coordinator. He is. But if you were concerned going into the game Sunday that they're going to face a coordinator that's just going to shut him down, he's going to look terrible for a half. Two guys have done that. Belichick and Anarumo for one half. Not even every time, but one time Anarumo did it. That's it. That's the list.
Yeah, and historically, and I'm going to give some stats later in the week, historically, if it's number one defense versus elite level quarterback, what your defense ranks is unimportant. It is not a factor for how many points he's going to score. The Chiefs have faced other very good defenses in this year's postseason run, and they're scoring points. That isn't holding them up. Hell, that Eagles defense 2 years ago, he can crash on he can make fun of their defensive coordinator at the time and Matt Patricia. That defense was the number 2 scoring defense or number 1 scoring defense in the NFL in the year that they faced the Chiefs in the Super Bowl with the number 1 sack team in the NFL in the Super Bowl. And Mahomes still put up 38. What did he put up in that game? Something like that?
38-35 was the score, yeah. 38-35 was the win for the Chiefs in Phoenix a couple of years ago. We're expected to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in about 12 minutes or so right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan. So yesterday, like it is every year during Radio Row and everything on that Monday, Roger Goodell has his State of the League address press conference. And he had a variety of topics. He also was asked about the conspiracy theory stuff of the NFL rigging it for the Chiefs, and he kind of laughed it off. But he was discussing the 18-game NFL season that everybody assumes one day is going to happen. He says it's not on the table until the CBA talks begin, though. He said, quote, they do not expect to negotiate with the Players Union for an 18th game until CBA talks begin. He said that is more than just a few years away. That CBA, if you're wondering, doesn't expire until 2031. Now, can they still come up with another deal to start this earlier? Sure. But maybe we won't have it till 2031. And I don't know what we expect this to do, because we recognize it's all driven by money. But at what point is it too many?
Is it negative to the league and nobody plays?
Is the cutoff
the quality of the games are so poor?
Is the cutoff 18 games? Is the cutoff 17 where we're already at? Is the cutoff 1 day 20 games? Yeah, when does it reach a point where fans even are okay, this is really impacting the product? I think there are some people that already feel like it's there. Do I need an 18th game? No. Will I watch? Yes. And those are two different things. But I wonder.
I didn't need a 17th game.
Yeah. And so I think we know where this is trending, but they can take their time. Wait till 2031. That's fine with me. You know what I mean? I don't need one less preseason game and an additional regular season game. It's not a fair trade. The NFLPA has got to try to get something more than just that. If they're going to agree to an 18th game, it can't just be we'll have you play one less preseason. That is not the same thing for the starters in this league. And I know the NFLPA represents everybody, not just the stars. But still, man, that's really tough to think that that's a fair trade.
I borderline would ask for an advance. I think what I would ask for is an advance on what the cap is going to go up, knowing that this game will eventually bring in the additional revenue. So just go ahead and give us that money now. Not wait till the number goes up and then we renegotiate the next year. We'd like an advance on all this additional money you're going to do, or ask for additional money out of the streaming partners and these one-time sales out of Netflix or Peacock or Prime or anything else where they're stealing these one game here or there gold and everything else. And so if I look at it, I got to get the world. I am not giving up that 18th game unless I get the world. Getting rid of one preseason game, can I get it done? I need more non-injury injury guarantees. I need more health care. Legitimate things that you might need. You don't have to play 5 years in the league anymore to get health care for life. I play 3 years and you give me health care for life. I got to play two additional games from 5 years ago that I'm playing. No, I'm asking for the world if I'm then. Because the NFL knows it's printing free money. Because you know what they're going to do with that 18th game, Gold? It's going to be sold to whatever streaming platform doesn't have a game right now. Hulu will be airing 18 games a year. One a week. Or whoever. You and I both know that. It'll be just a massive streaming platform.
Yeah, I think
and they'll put them more overseas. And so Wembley will be paying for it to this international markets or whatever.
The challenge with an 18th game as well, and someone mentions load management on the text line. And the challenge is, look what happened this year. Week 18, the Chiefs lost 38-0 because they rested everybody. And so how many years are we going to see that sequence play out? Like, it happened this year and doesn't happen every year, but it happened this year. If all of a sudden we have 18 games, so a week 19 would be a real thing. We'd have it sounds so weird to say. Week 19 of the NFL season. The final 2 weeks, could we have multiple games where starters are playing half of a game or not a game at all? And again, it's already happening. The Chiefs just did it because they had everything locked up, and it was the right decision for them. But from a product standpoint, does that hurt? It's tricky because we know people watch. It doesn't matter.
They don't care that the product gets worse.
It's just at some point, when does it actually cost people not to watch? There is a limit. I don't know what the answer is.
I don't think it's 18.
I don't think that is the case either. I'm hoping they wait till 2031 to do this. I don't think anybody should be in any rush. Frankly, also during the run the Chiefs are on. I don't want an 18th game. I don't want an 18th game in the middle of the run that they're having. You know what I mean?
Also,
makes it even more challenging.
Well, and the other part of it is, are you moving up the NFL season? Because
no, they're going to just cut out one preseason game. So I guess it would be
but do you move up? Yeah. I actually don't think. I think they'll just start the regular season at the same time, create the double bye, and we'll get what we've all been asking for, which is President's Day, which is a holiday for some people. Will be the day off. Now I'll have to work it versus maybe not
the day after the Super Bowl.
Right
people
now,
want it to be a national holiday. Yeah,
yeah, but a lot of other people will be able to do it. I just
actually the only reason I'll push back on
at least
that,
if you're a season ticket holder for a team, you're getting your money's worth more because they make you pay full damn price as a season ticket member for that preseason game. At least that's what you get a regular season one.
The only thing I'd push back on the timeline is, let's remember, if they do this, they might do the double bye. So that I have no idea how the calendar would work if they did that. In terms of, do they have to move it up? Do they not have to move it up? Do they just
more teams on bye? I think you'd figure it out.
No. But if you're having two buys, I wonder if you have to push the schedule back even further a week, though.
Oh, I would think just the week would do it based on, it'd be more teams on bye depending on the week. Boy, a lot harder surviving guillotine. Fantasy football, they don't care about that. It's all the money.
What about the Survivor contest, man? This would screw it all up even more. How are we going to do this?
Dude, I wasn't winning when it was 18 weeks, so
yeah.
Sure as hell wasn't going to win it when it's 19. You and I, you know what? We're as a show or something.
We're doing it next year at Circa.
I think we get in the Circa one, even if it's got to be a small group.
Yeah.
There were people over on Twitch last year that were all willing. I think we could have but I need it to be an odd number. I need the majority vote to be, if it's Pick'em, how many, or not Pick'em, I want to do Survivor.
Yeah.
If we do Survivor,
$3,000 entry. It's a $1,000 entry. The reason why I'm more interested in it next year, I found that there's now a new website and it's legal. You can actually list your Survivor entry, and whether you're in Vegas or not, you can sell shares of it. So let's say we're lucky enough to make it 5 weeks in. That entry could have an implied value of like $7,000. We could sell 1% shares.
Trying to get part of our money back?
That's what happened this year for people that won. The final entries that won, 7 or 8 people won, there were 17 people that got a share of the, what was it? 1.7 million or something each share got. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation, but I'm with you. I'm on board. You know that. Up next, we continue our big game coverage. We're expected to hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
The FanDuel Kick of Destiny is happening on Sunday, and this time it's every Manning for himself. This Super Bowl, 2 legends going to take the field in a sudden death field goal showdown. Peyton versus Eli, live from New Orleans, 1 kick to claim ultimate family bragging rights. Who's going to rise to the moment? Pick your winner now in the FanDuel app, and if you back the right brother, you'll earn a share of $10 million in bonus bets. It's the FanDuel Kick of Destiny 3. Make your free pick. And don't forget to tune in to watch the showdown live during the Super Bowl 59 pregame show on Fox at 3 p.m. Eastern. May the best Manning win. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com/Alex. Use promo code Alex and bet with FanDuel. official partner of Super Bowl 59 and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. No purchase necessary. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And though I generally talk about medicine and effective treatments for erectile dysfunction and other men's sexual health issues, today I want to talk about love. Because love is the best reason to get treated for your ED. You see, ED can cause major relationship issues. In fact, men often push their partners away when ED becomes a problem. The condition can cause depression, arguments, breakups, and even contribute to divorce. But the good news is that if you're like most men suffering with ED, you can be successfully treated at Heartland Men's Health and put a stop to the relationship stresses that ED can cause. I say this with all confidence because we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Surely, it's likely you'll find you're performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment and get the love back in your life. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Casey's has 8 new coffee roasts that have been described as having rich aromatics that entice any palate. But, we're not sure what that means, so we just call it darn good coffee. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. Now get a small hot coffee for 99 cents. See Casey's for details.
Kansas City is gearing up for their 3rd straight championship title game. And Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during their historic run. Swing by your local Academy store today or shop online at academy.com to find officially licensed team gear in game-changing styles. From jerseys and tees to hoodies and hats, all at prices you'll love. Get the best KC gear for the biggest game of the year. Shop Nike, 47 brand, and more Kansas City styles at Academy.
Don't let clogged drains slow you down. Call Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter today for our $79 mainline drain clearing special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews ensures your peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2024-11121.
This ain't the little itty-bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is key to hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965. That's code 965 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Kansas only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a Pick 6, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Member owned. Open to all. Invested in you. Join today at CommunityAmerica.com. You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Eagles in Super Bowl 59 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour on Cody and Gold, our big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Member-owned, open to all, invested in you. Join today at CommunityAmerica.com. We're expected to hear from Andy Reid in just a moment. He is speaking to the media. Also, same thing will apply to Patrick Mahomes. We were joking off air because I got an email.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. And our boss has been doing a contest. Roxanne has been doing a contest for Chiefs trivia during the day.
You know, it's game week.
Yeah, so for the staff. And so she'll send out a question, and you can respond to the email. I looked, I got an email, and I saw that you responded.
That's correct.
And you won. And
that is also correct.
I looked at the timing of
Very
that.
good for me.
I looked at the timing of that. It means you were when Drew and I were hard at work during the segment, you were emailing the boss to win a contest.
I'm running around in the back
Drew's
here getting
working his ass off.
I can do more than
one thing.
I'm talking to Eytan Shander, and you're just entering contests in the middle of the segment. Okay.
Jeez.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sure none of you have ever sent a text out during this. Well, they already said the team photo's at 10:15 tomorrow. They're excluding me. Well, that's what it said. Team photo, 10:15. I'm already being excluded from something because I can't win contests.
Notifications on team photos.
I'm going to run down there tomorrow at 10:15. You guys have to hold the fort down. I want to be in the photo, you know?
Since I won the contest, you could be in the photo.
All right, let's go out to New Orleans and hear from Andy Reid.
Guys, so much, and them being willing to share with others. And it's not only the experience of coming to this, but it's, when we had injuries, guys welcome guys in, and even though it might be your position, welcome them in and try to get them up to date and help us to win football games.
Right. In Mexico, you have a lot of fans. The Chiefs are very popular, and they're very focused on that. You make a record for 3 Super Bowls in a row. What represents to you in your mind and your heart that you have the game versus Philadelphia, and you were the coach for Philadelphia for many years?
That's a good question. It's unique for sure, and really unique to have it gone on twice here. So, but I have a lot of respect for the people in Philadelphia, how they run things, the city itself, and at the same time, I feel very fortunate to be in Kansas City with our ownership and our front office and how it works there. So, I would tell you, from my standpoint, I feel very lucky, honored, privileged, all those words. I feel, that I'm very fortunate to be in this position. Yeah. I'll be curious when we get to the owner meetings to kind of see how it played out and with the injuries and get that update and some of the things that the league was trying to accomplish with it. So and see if they have anything that they want to change. But it's different. It's been kind of exciting to have something new like that incorporated in the game. But I'm hoping that to see if the league got from it what they wanted to.
All right, so Andy Reid's talking in New Orleans. We're going to switch to a better feed here in just a second, and we'll go back out there right now.
Coach, you're one of the best of all time, but sit down
Yeah, they're fast, so they recover quickly. The idea in screen game is to try to get the guys to rush up the field thinking it's a pass and then dump it down with some blockers out there in front to kind of mix the run game, pass game all in one play. But these guys, they don't get caught up too much on the screen game. They're able to recover quickly. Yeah, no, he's a great one, and that was a great little nugget he threw out there with his saying, and but that's a different sport. You know, that's the direction he went with it, and that's not the only thing that made him great, but that was a great prediction there and challenge. I think you guys have taken care of all that for me. I don't have to say much, so other than get ready to play the game. That means I'm old. Yeah, no, listen, Jeremiah his father was one of my favorite players. And this kid, his son has done a tremendous job did it at Clemson and now transferred it to the Eagles. And yeah, I think it's a neat deal. He's wearing the same number. All that, yeah, that's a great deal. Great deal for the family. Yeah, sure. So Xavier, I tell you, first of all, he's not the biggest guy in the world, and for him to survive through 17 games in the National Football League and then the couple playoff games that we've had, I think is an accomplishment just in itself. But every week that he's done this thing, he's gotten better every week. And he and Pat have a great relationship, so he's got Pat's trust. And that takes a little bit of time to get and work, and with any quarterback in this league with a young receiver. So, but he's done that, and that's through hard work. Oh boy. I don't know that. I mean, we're going. Time will tell, right? Ask me that after the game. I'll let you know. Yeah, that's something. I mean, coincidental for sure. Great city, New Orleans is. Facing Vic Fangio, we've faced him at Denver, Miami, and the Eagles in the same year. I feel like we've gone against each other a lot for a lot of years here, and we're fortunate to have Steve Spagnuolo, but I tell you that Vic is one of those guys. He's just one of those real creative defensive minds that survived a long time in this league. He's been time tested, and he has the trust of his players there. Yeah, a little bit of what I was saying with veteran players, allowing these guys to become the best they could be in that short period of time. So within the offense and defense. Then the other part of that, which is huge, is Brett Veach and the job that he did on bringing players in. He and his crew there. So in the personnel department, he has done an exceptional job. I mean, he's done it since he's been in that position, and no more than this year. That's I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer that. Which character would I be out of the I don't even, I'm myself.
Mr. Hunt said yesterday that he's certain that next year you're going to be back. And I'm wondering, I know winning is its own motivation. What is your motivation for continuing to do a very difficult job? And is the most wins ever of any coach part of that motivation?
Yeah, that's not part of it. That I enjoy teaching, so I don't get caught up too much on all the stats and all that, all the records and all that stuff. But I enjoy being around the guys. I enjoy football, the game. You can't put in the hours that we do and not enjoy it. I really love the game. Yeah. Yes, I'll be back. I'm glad he's going to have me back. I mean,
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
I see the Kansas City Chiefs is a very stable organization. We see another successful teams moving their coordinators, defensive, offensive coordinator to another teams. How do you guys manage to avoid, give, for instance, Spagnolo competing with you guys in many years?
Yeah, that's a real good question. I thought he and Nagy might move on this year and be head coaches again. For whatever reason, it didn't work out. I mean, I don't know the answer. The owners know that and what they're looking for, but I'm glad that selfishly, I'm glad that they're with us right now, and hopefully they stay for a long time. Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, every game has got its own challenges in it. And, the thing is, you don't want to get too high, you don't want to get too low in a game. You want to kind of find that area where you keep a steady climb. If something bad happens, try to learn from it and move on. But every game's got that, and every game's a little bit different. So we've doinked them in, we've blocked field goals, we've done. I mean, so whatever comes up, I'm sure our guys will handle and move forward in a positive way. Yeah.
We'll do a couple more. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, Coach Andy.
Good seeing you.
Hey, how important was it for Patrick to sit that first year and learn before you all handed him the keys to the operation?
Yeah, I'm not saying he couldn't have been as great as he is now if he didn't sit, but be with Alex Smith, I thought, was something that you can't buy. And he was able to sit there and watch a guy that's the ultimate professional on and off the field and just get an idea of the lay of the land of how things work in this league. And I think that's helped him in that part of his, in his career. But I'm sure if he stepped in and as a rookie and played, he probably would have been just as great as he is now. But I think that helped for sure.
Last one, go ahead. Coach, you talked briefly about Kareem Hunt. He was, left Kansas City a number of years ago, came back 4 games into your season this year, and so far has filled in, a number of injuries he'll have. Is that a great year?
Yeah, Kareem's he's a good kid and had a great career at Cleveland, and we were able to. That was a good question. He left. Anyways, it was I got you. Moving fast, covering a lot of bases. So he did a nice job. I joked that we just pulled him off the couch and threw him in there. I think he had 21 plays the first game, 27 the next game, and we kind of beat him up there without any introduction. So, but he sure handled it well, and he's having a good time. This is his first time at the Super Bowl, and as a player, and that's one of the neat stories there.
All right, so that's Andy Reid speaking here on a Tuesday in New Orleans. We think we'll hear from Patrick Mahomes in just a second as well. Andy Reid confirmed what Clark Hunt said this morning on Fesco and Dusty from New Orleans, which is that Andy Reid's coming back next year. I don't know anybody in Kansas City was all that concerned about that, but if you wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth, if you will, Andy Reid basically confirmed that as well. And remember, he just signed an extension this past offseason.
We knew Andy was coming back, so this isn't surprising. Awesome moment that a guy asked a question then just left.
How about that? At
the end of that is incredible.
To just ask the question and you're like,
oh, see you later. Don't actually care about the answer, coach. Just felt like I was supposed to ask something.
All right, Patrick Mahomes is speaking to the media in New Orleans right now on 96.5 The Fan.
You take a couple things, just because they're a lot of the same players. I mean, obviously they have new players, but a lot of the same players, a lot of the same coaches. But you have to learn from what they've done this season, obviously. And so you look at the tape, you get what you can from that, and then you move on to what they've done this season. Yeah, I mean, he's extremely talented. I mean, I saw it firsthand in the last Super Bowl that we played, and I think what the best thing about him is he's a winner. He knows how to win football games, and if that's throwing the football, if that's running the football, whatever it takes, in order to be great in this league, you have to find ways to win football games.
Patrick, 17 straight games, one possession wins. You know how to build momentum.
I think the best thing we do is just we compete to the very end. It doesn't matter how the game looks from the beginning to the end. We're just going to find a way to get the win, and if that's why one possession or about two possessions, whatever it is, we're just going to find a way. Jesus, my Lord and Savior. It's someone that I look up to every single day to decide what I want to do with my life and how I want to live my life. And so Jesus is everything to me at the end of the day. I don't know about this season, but I always lean on Acts 27 through 12 about a boy named Eutychus and his faith and him listening to a sermon and falling and dying and coming back to life. And it just spoke to me at that moment of how I need to live my life and how I need to be fully invested in God. Yeah, Super Bowl is always top of the top, you know, and to be able to have this opportunity to be in this game, it's always special. And so we're just going to go out there and lay it all on the line. I mean, we've worked so hard to be in this game, and I'm proud of my teammates. We're one win away from going out and completing history, so I'm excited for it. I just want to be remembered as one of the greatest teams of all time at the end of the day, and I know how blessed I am to be in Kansas City and the people that I have around me, coaches and players, and so I'm more focused on leaving the imprint on the Kansas City Chiefs and how we are remembered for the rest of the time. Not at all. I mean, I just go out there and play the game that I love at the end of the day, and so I know people gamble on the game and everything like that, but at the end of the day, I play football for the love of it, and that's what I always will do. I think it gets people watching. I think that's good for the sport. But at the end of the day, I want people to realize that it's a game that you play on the playground for recess, and it's stuff that you just go out there and give everything you love, and I think that's what we try to do on the football field, and I think that's everybody on that football field. I think just after the games, when I look back on seasons, I get emotional just because of the process, the hard work that you put in. Win or lose, guys give everything that they have, and every team's different. I mean, we have a lot of the same guys that have been on these Super Bowl runs with us, but at the same time, from my first Super Bowl to now, I think it's only like 3 to 5 guys that are on that team. And so no matter how the season ends, you're going to be a different football team, and you just embrace and really have those moments together as a team, and I think that makes you a little emotional. Yeah, I think it's just the grind of every single day of having to start from the bottom and then work your way back to the top. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to be in this game, and that's why I don't take it for granted. And it speaks to the guys I have around me that they're willing to go back to work, start from the beginning, work their tail off again to make it to this game. And so I think the fans know that, but until you experience it on a day-to-day process, you never really appreciate it. I think you just have to have a process of how you go about every single play, and there's certain checkpoints that I need to do as far as to recognize the coverage or recognizing what we need to do as an offense and just getting us to the best opportunity to be successful. And then you just play the football game. At the end of the day, it's a football game. It's a game that you play growing up. You just make it about that moment. You make it about that play, and you just execute your job. I just, as I've learned in this league, it's all about winning at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how it happens. It doesn't matter if it's dissecting the coverage before the play, getting us to a run play, or running with your legs, or throwing the football. It's just about winning the football game. And at the end of the day, that's what the ultimate goal is. And so that's what I've tried to do, especially at this part of my career, is even though that the stats might not be as flashy as they were in my first year, we've won a lot of football games, and I'll always be proud of that. I don't know if it motivates me. I think I'm so motivated by just the success that we have together as a team. I know that the guys on our team, how much they love football and how much work they put in on an every single day basis. And so when we step on that football field, we're going to come together as a brotherhood and as a family and just play our best football and live with the results after. So it's not like I'm embracing the villain or doing anything like that. I'm embracing my teammates and how we play the football game. Oh, yeah, it happens a lot. I mean, that's why interceptions happen. So, no, it's these guys are talented on that side of the football, and they study film and watch plays just like we do. And so there's definitely times where the defense gets me on certain plays or certain blitzes or certain coverages, and you just have to learn from those and try to be better the next time. What? Yeah, I think just how talented they are. I mean, they're talented at all three levels, D-line, linebackers, and secondary, and they know how to play well together. I mean, that's what makes Vic Fangio's defenses so great, is that everybody has a part, and they have to do their job in order for everybody to have success, and that's what they do. And if they're asked to play man, they play man well. If they're played zone, they make sure to be in the right spots at the right time. And so it'd be a great challenge. You got to be patient, and when those opportunities come, you got to go out there and execute on them, because there'll only be a few of them in the game. I think just being able to feel the tempo of a game and feel how the game flow is going. I feel like when I was younger, I wanted to just make the big play happen the whole game. And I obviously still want to do that, but whenever the defense is playing well or the offense, we're struggling a little bit, it's about getting us back in rhythm, getting us back in tempo so that the big plays kind of come to us and we're not trying to force them. Yeah, it's always motivating whenever you have another baby. I mean, just because I want them to have the same experiences that the other two had, and she's been amazing. She's been sleeping well. Mom's been extremely happy, and I'm excited for her to be able to come to. I think this will be her first football game at the Super Bowl, and hopefully we can get her a win. I don't know if I play. I was in Long Island with the Mets, but he played on the Long Island Ducks. So when he was there, I definitely spent some time in Long Island. I was a little bit older too then, so I remember a couple of things. But the games were awesome. They had a lot of fans in the stands, and some of that independent baseball that he played at the end of his career was kind of some of my favorite moments. I mean, I can't even a lot. I would just say a lot of them, but I mean that's a part of it. I was a little kid asking for autographs from my dad, so I'm always, especially for the kids and the kids that want to live out their dream and are looking for some inspiration, I always would sign those autographs for them. I signed some man's back because he had a tattoo of me on his back, and I got kind of cornered into where I had to do it. That was a pretty strange one. I think it's just the guys that we have in our locker rooms have such an appreciation for the process and how hard it is to get to the Super Bowl. And so with that, we start from the beginning. We don't just rely on what got us there the year before. We really go back to ground zero, and we work our tail off just to to be the best that we can be, and knowing that it's going to be a hard process. It's going to be a hard journey to get back to the Super Bowl. And so when you have a bunch of guys like that, it kind of fuels you to be the best you can be every single day.
Anything is.
All right, so that was Patrick Mahomes speaking to the media. Some other players are talking. If anything note comes out of that, we'll certainly bring it to you as we continue our big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Member-owned, open all, invested in you. Join today at CommunityAmerica.com. We'll react a little bit to what Andy Reid and Mahomes had to say. Plus, we'll get back into this Eagles team. We had a guest on from Philly. We'll replay his answer, at least fill you in on that. How does this Eagles team stack up compared to the prior teams the Chiefs have faced during this run over the last 6 years, really, at this point in time? That's up next during the Chiefs Red Half Hour.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold once again, telling you about our friends over at Centric, and we've all been dealing with this brutal weather in Kansas City. Maybe you work outside, and look, you've just had enough. Well, you can start a brand new career with our friends over at Centric, because they allow you to advance your career on your time with their flexible schedule.
Classes start in February. You get to choose your curriculum, go with that new career path, and stop worrying about what the weather will do for you. Call our guy, Russ Mondry. He's been with Centric for 16 years and will be with you to guide you every step of the way. Go to Centric.com now.
Kansas City is gearing up for their third straight championship title game. And Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during their historic run. Swing by your local Academy store today or shop online at academy.com to find officially licensed team gear in game-changing styles. From jerseys and tees to hoodies and hats, all at prices you'll love. Get the best KC gear for the biggest game of the year. Shop Nike, 47 brand, and more Kansas City styles at Academy.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Zero, like in 0% financing. Zero is back. Up to 0% financing on select 2024 and 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. Yeah, we did that too. And we're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. 0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
So you want a greener, thicker, healthier lawn? You need the local experts. I'm Noah with Gunner Pest and Lawn. My family's been helping Kansas City homeowners since 1950. You know us for bugs, but have you heard about our 7-step lawn care service? Our customers love having the best lawn on the block. No contracts, expert technicians, and our treatments typically cost less than doing it yourself. Starting as low as $50 per application. Go Gunter, go green.
Visit GunterPest.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Right now, get up to a $15 gift card after rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's Super Bowl 59 week, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel makes it easy to place your bets and feel the thrill of every moment. Here's some of the fun bets in the app right now. Saquon to record 25 or more rushing yards in each quarter. Either quarterback to catch a pass. Jalen Hurts to score an octopus. A big man touchdown, and any offensive lineman to score a touchdown. And how about Noah Gray to score 2 touchdowns? Just place a $5 bet, and if you win, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com/Alex and bet with FanDuel, official partner of Super Bowl 59. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Choose from select Superstar Premium, Extreme, or Platinum batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts and get up to a $15 gift card after rebate. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstar batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Now, Taxes is having a TurboTax expert do your taxes and get you every dollar you deserve. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
This report is brought to you by Care Now Urgent Care. Find one near you at carenow.com.
Care Now Urgent Care has 15 Kansas City area locations open 7 days a week. From injuries and illnesses to school and sports physicals, Care Now Urgent Care is here to help you feel better fast. Find a location near you at carenow.com and use our convenient web check-in today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour. We heard from Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid over the last 25 minutes or so. Andy Reid, one thing of note that we mentioned throughout kind of the last week or so is how healthy they are. He acknowledged no new injuries. There's no injuries to report for this team. That hasn't changed. Remember, they'll practice at Tulane there in New Orleans. That's where they're practicing, as the AFC, NFC have the rotation each year, right? The home team, which is the NFC this go around, gets the NFL facility, so they'll be practicing at the Saints indoor facilities, presumably, and then the Chiefs at Tulane. Just like a year ago, the Chiefs had the quote-unquote better practice facility. This is the normal rotation. It's just kind of how this thing goes.
How you do it. There's not enough space. Don't you remember last year they were complaining like,
Yes.
we want to practice on your field? And we're like, no.
The
Chiefs
49ers
were
were
that's
wanting
not
to.
how this works. Do your own thing.
The 49ers thought the field was too soft or something. I can't remember what it was. And then the facility.
That's exactly what it was. They thought it was too soft, too squishy.
That's right. Squishy was
They
the
sound
word,
like
yeah.
that sounds like a toddler thing. Like, hey, will you try that food? I know you haven't had it before, but will you try it? And they're like, too squishy. Not eating that.
Yeah, the NFL said the field
is too
the
soft.
NFL said the
whining.
field was safe. The NFL said the field was safe. We'll talk about that later in the week. It's all jokes aside with the the complaining of Philly a couple of years ago at the field and then last year. The field they're going to play on, it's like a synthetic turf or whatever, which should be fast for Xavier Worthy. Should be nice.
Like that. And good for
it's
kicking.
It has the fifth most injuries, though.
Well, dude, those kind of fields. So, like,
I was looking this up.
The key is, can you just get through
yesterday.
one game without it impacting you? Because in a short-term sense, obviously, if a guy would be out for a week or two, you don't care. It's can they just finish the game is all you care about in that point. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, it could be another factor in this and another excuse-making for somebody.
Coming up in the noon hour today, Nate Taylor, who's down in New Orleans, he's speaking to some players right now. We'll get the latest from him, boots on the ground. Also, 1 o'clock hour, we'll go back out there, check in with Dusty. Of course, Fesco and Dusty, they're broadcasting live all week, so we'll get the scoop from him on what last night was, opening night, and then, of course, just what the plan is for today and everything, and find out what else stood out from his Mike Florio interview that they did on the show. But we asked Eytan Shander from Philly earlier. He's with Fox 29 there in Philadelphia, about this year's Eagles team compared to the one 2 years ago, and then the broader conversation about, like, is this the best team the Chiefs have faced? He said in comparison to the Eagles team from 2 years ago that this is the better team. And I do believe that to be the case. Specifically,
Is it because of the offense, obviously?
Absolutely. Yeah, they had, to your
A.J.
point,
Brown,
they had the defensive line with the record sacks and everything 2 years ago. But I think it's a much better offense, even if they're not throwing as much. Barkley's just a generational type of player. Jalen Hurts is more experienced. But if we brought it out, is this Eagles team the best they faced during this run? And we can include the loss to Tampa. That's fair. So go back to 2019, the 49ers Super Bowl in Miami, all the way up until this one. Where does this Eagles team stack up? I think if you're going to say it's not the best, I think it's potentially the second best. The Bucs one is so hard for me to judge only because the Chiefs were also injured. So I have no idea with a healthy offensive line how they would have held up against that dominant front of Tampa. And it's the game they lost. So that right away might just make them the toughest because you're like, hey, they're the one that beat them, so they were the toughest. And I get it.
I think it's the Bucs because of how good that defense was, how good that offensive line was, and just how good that offense was. They had Godwin, they had Evans, they had Gronk, they had Antonio Brown, they had a good run game. He had 40 touchdowns and 12 interceptions that season, and they had a lot of really good young defensive players. Ndamukong Suh was an older one, but outside of that, right? I mean, it was Vita Vea and Devin White and a million other guys. It was just a dangerous team. If I'm taking out the loss because it feels like it skews my memory a little bit, I still think the Eagles team from 2 years ago is better. First starters, Jalen Hurts was better. He had 800 yards rushing, 3,700 yards passing, and scored a million touchdowns. And I know you're going to be like, hey, Saquon's having a career year. He is. Miles Sanders was great.
Yeah, but Saquon's having a NFL historically great year.
But they had A.J. Brown, who went for 1,500 yards. They had Devonta Smith, who went for 1,200 yards. I think they had a better Goddard probably at that time. A way better defense, in my opinion. And the Eagles have a number one ranked defense in points per game as it sits right now. So I'm not here to tell you that the Eagles defense stinks this year. That's obviously not the case. It just scared me more between Reddick and Sweat and Hargrave. It was deeper. Fletcher Cox was still in the league. They just had, I thought, more depth, more danger. I think that 1 2 years ago is actually better than this year's team. Now, I mean, I still think what's funny is I think the 49ers teams might be last and second to last for me. Once I start ranking it out, I don't know why. It's probably because it's Brock Purdy and Jimmy G. The Jimmy G one's the worst. The first Super Bowl is the worst team they face in the Super Bowl.
The quarterback-wise, look, Tom Brady, of course, was the best quarterback during this run that the Chiefs have faced. It's not even close. I think that what we're forgetting a little bit, though, I know just saying the name out loud, it doesn't sound like the better quarterback and all this. And Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls, and that in its own right gets you a new level of respect to go to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. But Brock Purdy last year, heading in, I know it sounds nuts because they had a terrible season this year.
He was playing great.
Brock Purdy was legitimately in the MVP conversation a year ago.
Yeah, we mocked it a little, but he was technically
he was
in the
it.
conversation.
Christian McCaffrey was having a great year. Again, sounds weird to say now, but let's remember where we were at that point in time and how we talked about that Niners team.
He was having like a Saquon year based on the
that's
yardage.
the debate. I mean, that Bucs team that someone points out it's true. Like in Vegas is not the end all be all, but the Chiefs were decent sized favorites against the Bucs going into that game. That's what's crazy. They were an underdog 2 years ago against Philly. They're a 1.5 point favorite this year. Last year they were underdogs to San Francisco. So it's interesting how the line has shifted over the years. But Philadelphia, I think they're more experienced at wide receiver, even if they don't throw the ball more. And that's what it comes down to for me on Sunday as well. Is do we think what we saw from Jalen Hurts against the Commanders is what he can do this go around? The Commanders defense sucks. I'm sorry. Like, great story. Jaden Daniels is going to be a stud in this league for a long time. But that defense is not good. The Chiefs are a massive upgrade on defense that they are going to face. It just is. And so can Jalen Hurts throw the ball around the yard, or is it going to be relying on Saquon, busting out a 60-plus yard run, which is what he has done. Can Spags slow that down? Can they prevent the big 60-plus yard run? Eytan Shander, who joined us from Philly, his reason, and neither one of us mentioned this, but his reason was, hey, Vic Fangio is just a way better coordinator than what the Eagles had then. And the Eagles statistically were a better defense from a sack department. Overall, though, they're the number one pass defense in football this year. The Eagles are.
Yep,
and Vic Fangio is much better than Matt Patricia, who was the interim defensive coordinator they hired like week 10 of that season. I forgot about that when he brought it up. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. Matt Patricia was actually the DC in the Super Bowl.
Like, I'll point out, and like to your point on the Christian McCaffrey end, I looked up Saquon Barkley's numbers. He had 2,283 total yards this year. Saquon Barkley had Christian McCaffrey had 2,100.
Great.
2 years ago. So, I mean, I'm not like, I understand because, like, the rushing part, you're like, 2,000 rushing. Christian McCaffrey is pretty dangerous in the old pass game.
Sure.
He was only 130, 150, whatever, maybe 200 yards off of the entire total from Saquon Barkley this year. So Christian McCaffrey was, I don't know if I would say equally dangerous because he is having kind of a historic all-time year, but it wasn't that far off. He led the league in rushing and led the league in total yards and led the league, I think, in scrimmage touchdowns.
Yeah,
that year. So I mean,
we're talking about two of the great running backs of our time. Now, Barkley to me is having a better season than even McCaffrey last year, but the gap to your point is not like ultra
it's like
wide.
90% to 100% or 95 to 100. It's comparable.
The Chiefs, remember McCaffrey in the Super Bowl last year, he had 80 yards on the ground, he had 80 yards receiving and a touchdown. So he touched the ball 30 times, McCaffrey did.
Had 160 yards, and they still lost.
Yes.
That took overtime.
So that's what will be something to watch with Barkley. It's not just as simple if Barkley gets 120 yards, it's game over. No. Can you prevent the fourth quarter, third quarter? You got him bottled up. He's got 80 yards rushing, and you're up by a touchdown or down 3 or whatever. Can you prevent all of a sudden the 65-yard touchdown run that just changes the entire game?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's burned everybody this year. Can Spags come up with something there? I think this defense, with the time and with the defense coordinator they have, the answer is yes. Saquon's not going to be held to 50 yards rushing, okay? But that's fine.
That seems unlikely.
He can have 110 yards and one touchdown as long as it's not a 60-plus yard touchdown run, in the fourth quarter. Like, does that make sense? Like, he can have the touchdown on the yards. It is the back-breaking big gain that is just killer for these teams.
What's funny about them is you've got to remember here too, and their schedule was softer than Kansas City's, admittedly.
Yes.
They only lost one game from September 30th until the end of the season. So, like, this is a team who just did what the Chiefs did, which is win, then win, then win, then win. And yeah, were some games a little too close? Did they play a close game against Cleveland or Jacksonville? Or, sure. They even played a close game like against the Panthers, just like Kansas City. But this team just won. Their only loss was against Washington, December 22nd, from September 30th until, and that's the only loss they have from the beginning of October until now.
So I respect Eytan Shander from Philly. I've known him for a while. I thought he was pretty honest with his description of what occurred 2 years ago, not blaming the refs even, and like he's basically like, hey, it'll be out there, but he hates it. He has to remind Philly fans. Then our Odyssey sister station, WIP, who's in New Orleans, This name might ring a bell, maybe only because his name was relevant 2 years ago.
Not him again.
Elliott Shore-Parks.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember what he was saying. I just remember the name, and then we were all like,
2 years ago, he got his name out there by saying Jalen Hurts would be the more ideal quarterback than Patrick Mahomes to have on your team. Okay, ridiculous, but that was the thing 2 years ago.
Okay.
Fast forward to yesterday, and I think he's going to be on with CDOT on Thursday. I think he'll be on CDOT's show. He tweeted out what is the most, I would say, the epitome of misleading, fuzzy math, funny numbers, however you want to describe it.
We already talked about this, how you can play with numbers to create
so here you go.
I'll
just read the tweet. Mm-hmm. The tweet says, Mahomes and Hurts are basically the same. Mahomes, after 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl ring, 58-16, 159 touchdowns. Hurts, after 5 seasons, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 Super Bowl ring, parentheses, if win Super Bowl LIX, 51-23 record, 157 touchdowns.
Okay.
There's obvious things we can all tell right out of the gate of why this is the most misleading stat. One, I'm just saying
he's erasing his rookie. He's counting his rookie season.
Well, one, he's counting Mahomes' rookie season. We all know he played 1 game. That's the problem, first and foremost. People do this with Josh Allen stats all the time, too. The other part is, I love how it's just already putting 1 Super Bowl ring, parentheses, if he wins Super Bowl 59, as if that's just like a no big deal to add to your resume. It's the most ludicrous, like, just using numbers to mislead people ever. And this is like a media gripe of mine. And I look, you and I have done radio long enough now, and I understand it. Like, we've had bad takes before. That's nothing new. But, like, nothing in the industry drives me more crazy. And this is not like saying I'm better than anybody. Like, I just don't know how I could get to this point, which is intentionally putting out numbers that you know are bleeping BS. Like, that stuff drives me crazy. Like, do you believe these crappy takes you're saying?
No.
Do you like
engagement?
I can also find numbers that I know are misleading, but just give me a bunch of likes on social media. That's all this crap is. It drives me crazy. He'll be on CDOT's show on Thursday if you want to listen to the ridiculousness from Elliott Shore-Parks. He did this 2 years ago. Props. I guess the name of the game is get your name out there. This is my issue with Philadelphia. That's what he's doing. That's
if
all
everyone
this
thinks
is.
you're an idiot,
It's
I mean,
stupidity is what it is.
I understand I can get my name out there more if I just say insane things, but like that's not the point. That's not the point. His 5 years as a starter, he's actually a 2-time Super Bowl champion with a gajillion more yards and a gajillion more touchdowns and everything else in between. I think I would liken this back to what we had said before, which is what I think is happening with all the ref stuff. Elliott is going to come on this station on Thursday. He's going to come on Carrington's show, and he's going to make it seem like he believes this. But you and I both know when he goes to lay his head down on his pillow.
That's my point. Yeah.
He does not believe this to be true.
Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts are the same. Yeah.
The other part I would be very careful if I were Elliott Shore-Parks in saying this is you already, so like if you're comparing 5 years and you're erasing his rookie year in which he didn't start, I'll remind you, Elliott, you already have the benefit of hindsight, my friend. You know that after those 5 years you're purporting, he won 2 more Super Bowls, is in a third, and threw for 1 million more yards. Do they give you like a better interview for being the beat reporter for the Eagles if you just make stuff up? You know, I gotta say, now I'm looking at this all tracks. Based on our history of dealing with some people, would you guess where he went to college?
No. I can't.
You know what? We won't even
say.
Have
to say the school. We know.
Don't even have to say.
We know the school.
Shocker! It might be. What are you doing, Elliott? You don't have to do this, man. You don't have to do this. He was born, I just want to be clear, born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
That's fine.
He's a deluge. He's delusional.
I got no problem. You and I are born and raised in Kansas City. That's not the issue. I have no problem with that. Support your team. I just get annoyed, clearly, with people that intentionally put out stuff they know
they don't believe.
They know is BS, especially when you're presenting numbers as if it's fact. And then they just do it. You don't believe it. Like, for what? Someone said just to get a rise out of people. Sure, that. Or just to
what
get
kind of miserable
just to get
personality
clicks.
is that?
And I understand. Look, we're in the entertainment business. Right? That's what we do for a living. I truly believe Cody doesn't do this either. Like, we have a ton of fun on this show. Cody has obviously moments where he deep down I don't think thinks all his songs are great or whatever, but he enjoys.
Oh, but I do think some are great.
But he does think some are great.
I do genuinely
okay?
think some are great.
Like we have takes. Like I truly believe you feel the same. Like if I have an opinion on the show, like I truly believe it. You may think I'm an idiot, but I truly believe. Like, I don't put out stuff that I don't actually believe when I say it out loud. And this is again not trying to be like, oh my gosh, Gold, you're acting like you're better than everybody. That is not what it is. I think Cody does the same thing as well. I don't get it. I've never understood. There's other people that I know in this business that do it that I'm friends with. I don't get it. We're just intentionally doing that. And maybe that's why you and I are in Kansas City and we're not on a national network or something. I don't know. Maybe that's the case.
We could do some things to really improve the quality of the show. And it starts with me saying crazy stuff. For instance, I think Kareem Hunt is better than Saquon Barkley. And really, this is just a product of the system, Saquon's just the beneficiary of a good run system with a good running quarterback. And truthfully, if it was Kareem Hunt, he would have had 2,000 yards. We all believe that, right? I could just go to bed.
Well, no, you should put out a tweet right now. You should put out
first 5 years of their career, and I'm going to look up what Kareem Hunt's rushing stats were for the first 3 years of his career.
No,
and
you got to wait till
to Saquon Barkley.
Somehow, if there's any chance after the Super Bowl, somehow, some way that Barkley is held in check and Kareem Hunt in a miracle ends up with more yards, then you can say Kareem Hunt better Super Bowl performer than Saquon Barkley. They're better, therefore better running back, and just roll with that. And that's who's to debate it.
First, and again, fun with numbers.
That means Damian Williams is like one of the best running backs of all time.
He is. I think Damian Williams, best Super Bowl running back in NFL history.
Super Bowl.
Like again, I don't believe that. So and nobody.
Yes,
does.
obviously, I do not think.
Point.
Yeah,
anyway, I saw that as ludicrous. Then I remember this is the same guy. It's the same guy 2 years ago said Jalen Hurts was the more ideal quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. You know how stupid that is?
Someone said it's kind of like having a producer who loves the Bengals. No.
Drew actually believes that.
I actually like the Bengals. I am born and raised. I like the Bengals. I don't do this just as a facade.
To let it be clear, the first 2 years of their NFL career, dangerously close for old Saquon and Kareem Hunt.
Oh my gosh! This is exactly
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Compile a tweet right now, Cody.
What are you gonna do? I'm actually gonna quote tweet his.
Yes.
With whatever numbers I can manipulate that make Saquon's numbers look like Kareem Hunt's, and then stack them next to each other in what is an unbelievable.
Someone said this should be your next punishment, Cody. We should have Cody. Cody needs to post something outrageous on Twitter. This is the thing, though. The amount of
only one less career touchdown, than Saquon. So
how much traction do you think a tweet from you guys could get? Because obviously you guys have some of the better folling.
You notice that tweet that came out only the 2 times where all of a sudden we've even known this person's name has been Super Bowl week because he knows it'll get traction Super Bowl week. That's all.
Yeah, that might be it. It's also just like comparing any numbers and then just like pretending like somebody didn't miss an entire year or something. Saquon never missed an entire year, I don't think, but you get the point. Well, Gold,
he'll be on with Carrington Thursday.
Sometimes people
Elliott
just
Shore Parks
say stuff to say it, They just look at all the times. First 5 years of their career, for those who want to know. Saquon Barkley, 4,249 yards, 29 rushing touchdowns. Kareem Hunt, 3,657 yards, 28.
There you go. Well,
he's almost there. He's almost there.
Just as good.
I got to be honest, guys.
Just as good.
That
pretty
sounds pretty close.
All right, up next, we'll get to what's trending as we continue our big game coverage. We'll also give you the best from opening night, including what Clark Hunt had to say, also what C.J. Gardner-Johnson said to Fesco and Dusty, which was interesting, specifically the end of that interview. That's coming up next on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Maybe you've noticed those signs of roof damage after the storms last year, some of this melting snow. You start hearing that drip, didn't you? Don't wait. Schedule now your repair over at Century Roofing. No pressure inspection. Trusted roof experts. They'll come determine if there's enough damage to file a claim, find out if you just need repairs, roof replacement, all those things. Not a hassle. They want to find out. They came to look at mine. I thought I might need a roof replacement. They're like, nah, you just need a couple of repairs here and there. You'll be good to go for a little while longer. Let us know when you're ready to move on to the next phase. I'm not there yet. Just a few repairs is all that's needed. I like a local company you can trust. 35 years in Kansas City. Voted best in Johnson County 3 years in a row. There's a reason why people continue to go back to them. So if you've seen those storms last year and you weren't sure, or like I said, that ice and snow and all that stuff is melting and you're not sure, schedule an estimate with Century Roofing. There's a reason why they've been celebrating 35 years protecting KC homes, and again, have been voted best in Johnson County for a third year in a row. Don't wait. Schedule your inspection today. No pressure. Expert roofing team will help determine if they need it. Trust the pillars of strength. Go to KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. Visit CenturyRoofingKC.com to book your inspection now.
It's Super Bowl 59 week, and there's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel makes it easy to place your bets and feel the thrill of every moment. Here's some fun bets in the app right now. You can bet on Saquon Barkley to have 25 rushing yards in each quarter. You can bet on either quarterback to catch a pass. You also can bet on an octopus. That means a player scores the touchdown and also scores the 2-point conversion. If you want to place one of those bets, then all you need to do is place a $5 bet, and if you win, you'll get $200 in bonus bets if you're a new customer. So download the app or head to FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code and bet with FanDuel, an official partner of Super Bowl 59. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expires 7 days after street restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Art Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
For the third consecutive year, the Chiefs are headed back to the big game. I'm going to let Hy-Vee do all of our game day shopping with Aisles Online. Just place your order online and schedule a convenient pickup or delivery time. Place your order today and get a 75-cent per gallon fuel discount with any $125 purchase. And Hy-Vee has everything you need in one place with endless watch party food options including wings, pizza, specialty brats, chips, and so much more. Hy-Vee, the official grocery partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-469-1635. 800-469-1635. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-469-1635.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 16, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology to match your forward-thinking spirit and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Member owned, open to all, invested in you. Join today at communityamerica.com. Fesco and Dusty, live from New Orleans all week long for Super Bowl 59, right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Number one is, well, opening night was last night. We're going to play some of the highlights from that. Bob, Dusty, Mac were down there. They had a chance to also talk with Clark Hunt this morning. He acknowledged what Andy Reid ultimately would confirm about an hour or so ago as well. Not that there was, I don't think in Kansas City.
I'm not going anywhere. No one thought he was leaving.
He's like, I'll be back next year. That's an outside of Kansas City thing. Also, he did confirm the Chiefs are healthy. No injuries to report heading into this one on Sunday.
All good news, obviously, from the Chiefs. The fact that no new injuries occurred, and now they get to just have the slightly lighter but weirder week of Super Bowl week. We know how this goes.
Yeah, they'll talk a few other times at these various convention centers or hotels or whatever. Plus, of course, Sunday, the game right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan.
Next up on What's Trending, Kansas got a win, 69-52 over number 8 Iowa State at Allen Fieldhouse last night. Iowa State, who looked like the best team in the country for a little while, just got its ass kicked 2 times in a row by the state of Kansas. K-State over the weekend and then Kansas last night. K-State will actually be back in action tonight against Arizona State. That game at 9 o'clock tonight.
Out west.
That's what happens when you got teams in other conferences that don't care about the time. That game right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Next on What's Trending, Cooper Kupp is going to be traded. The Rams informing him that is their plan. They said they'll work with him on a potential destination where he could end up. We were taking a look at landing spots. The Chargers, one of the top odds, 3-1. Pittsburgh, right there, 3.5-1. And the Houston Texans and Patriots, the other top 5 teams or so to land Cooper Kupp services. The question for him, he's 31 years old. We all know how productive he can be. Can he stay healthy? He's missed over 16 games in the last 3 years. So that's what you're getting. And I think if you're the Patriots, that trade makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, reliable when he plays.
Yeah.
And obviously a good target for your quarterback. The upside obviously is pretty big. Price tag is what's going to maybe scare some teams off. I think there's some thought that he's going to need to rework his deal in order to find the proper landing spot. Next up on What's Trending, Bills All-Pro safety Micah Hyde has announced that after 12 seasons in the NFL, he's retiring. He's going to hang him up after this previous letdown against the Chiefs in the AFC title game. The All-Pro safety Micah Hyde, who's been a very, very, very good player in this league, he's decided to retire.
That is What's Trending here on Cody and Golden.
It was a great duo, Poyer and Hyde. I mean, those two guys ran the league two of the better safeties in the league for a little while. They're not on the team together anymore, but you get the point.
They're going to reconstruct that defense in Buffalo. Maybe it includes Myles Garrett. We'll get to that maybe tomorrow. Some of the odds are out there on potential landing spots for Myles Garrett.
True.
Opening night, last night in New Orleans. You might have caught it on NFL Network, or hopefully you were paying attention to our social media channels from the guys that are in New Orleans, providing some content there on Instagram in particular, 96.5 The Fan. They talked to Clark Hunt this morning, and I want to start there because Clark Hunt, owner of the Chiefs, discussed the future of Andy Reid on the show, and they also then talked to Mike Florio later, which was great because we all know the background for the last year or so about the reports of Andy's retiring. Here's what Clark Hunt said about Andy Reid being back.
Yeah, I was always surprised when I heard those rumors because I know how much fun Andy's having. He in a lot of ways I think is rejuvenated by the success the team's had. Certainly, he's matched with the quarterback that's a perfect complement for him and Patrick. And I know he loves what he's doing. I'm glad we haven't heard any of those rumors this year. I know for a fact he's going to be back next year, so we'll get there when we get there. But I think Andy loves what he's doing, and he's going to do it for a long time.
So Clark Hunt ending
Do it for a long time, he said.
And then the guys had Mike Florio on, which is great because of all the articles for the last couple of years. And they asked him, like, hey, what do you make now? Clark Hunt is saying that he's coming back.
No offense, I'm glad you were wrong on that one. We get to keep Andy.
Let me clarify, because people believe what they want to believe, and they take whatever they hear and they twist it into something other than what I actually said. The Chiefs were bracing for the possibility he was going to retire after last year's Super Bowl. That is 1,000% true, if that's even mathematically possible, and I know it's not. But they were bracing for the possibility he was going to retire. Now, was it a leverage play to get his contract fixed? Maybe it was. Maybe if they weren't going to fix that contract, he gets to a point where he says it's not worth it for whatever he was making before. He got his raise, and now he's locked in. He'll catch Bill Belichick if he can physically continue. He might catch Don Shula as long as it takes for him to get there. But yeah, he's locked in and he's still there. But as of last year, the Chiefs were bracing for the possibility because they were scoping out potential replacements. That's how I knew about it. They wanted to be ready in the event that Andy Reid walked away. That's 100% or 1,000% or 1,000,000% true. At the end of the day, he didn't. He got his contract, and now it's not even a question. It's not even a question whatsoever. He's going to continue.
So he is now saying...
Well, he's backtracked. He's definitely saying it's without a question.
He's absolutely backtracked. So his thing now is that Andy Reid's agent and him were potentially using...
So you fell for the ruse.
Potentially using him and others to get an extension for money. I just don't buy that.
And others? It was just him.
I don't buy that Clark Hunt wasn't willing to give him essentially whatever he wanted based off of what he's done for this franchise. I don't buy it. I think he was wrong.
You got fooled.
You were wrong about the potential of him retiring. He has since signed an extension, and this year you didn't write it. So I don't know if you'll write one in 3 years or what you'll do, but I still don't buy it, man. Like I appreciate him going on the station. I'm glad he got a chance to talk to Bob and Dusty. It was a really good interview. I'm not buying it. It's a lot of backtracking.
Yeah, I don't. Come on. He was wrong. It's okay. And that's another, you just talked about industry stuff. It is okay to admit when you were wrong. I have been wrong on players, games, things. It happens. It's fine. Nobody judges you. They judge you when you were unwilling to admit it. You fell for an agent's trap. An agent's like, I think they're even looking at other coaches. Andy might have had to walk away. He might quit this whole thing. Like Andy was ever going to walk away from football. Get the hell out of here. And then you fell for it because you wanted to be like the guy who was standing tall and correct in the end. And then you hide behind the guys that is always the like, all I said is that it was a possibility that they could. And
doesn't it kind of sound like
just farming for clicks?
Doesn't it kind of sound like Schefter when he put out the whole refs thing and went on McAfee's show and kind of tried to give that explanation?
Yeah. I thought some of the most fun stuff. Funny enough, the star of Media Night might have been Jameis Winston.
Yeah, so Jameis had some good moments. So he was around throughout the entire night, and his big thing was he was handing out W's, right? We all remember, eat a W thing, all right? And so it was a smart idea. They had W cookies made, right? Really good idea. And they were throwing them at people, including Andy Reid.
Coach, man, I'm honored to grow up during this time, to see you coaching in multiple Super Bowls for my favorite team and now for the Kansas City Chiefs. man, I hope I can play for you one day. I know it's free agency. Can you do one thing for me, though? Can you eat a W with me? Can you catch? I can catch. Thank you, Coach. I enjoy watching your punt, pass, and kick competitions.
Yeah, I wish I could throw it as well as you do.
Thank you, Coach.
Honestly, Jameis confirmed backup for Patrick Mahomes
There you
next
go.
year.
There
They'll
you
have a
go.
backup quarterback next year. Andy loves a veteran. Loves a guy who's been around the game a little bit, although I say he goes with the more boring, I feel like, like the Henny, Wentz, like they feel like more stable.
I think for
Jameis
Jameis
is kind of a
too.
wild card. He doesn't go with wild card versions of backups very often.
I also
guess.
think if you're Jameis, if you know you're going to be a backup, he usually has gone places where there's a path to eventually play, either because of bad performance or someone's injury prone. He went to Cleveland, and there was a good chance that Deshaun was going to either get hurt or have bad play. He's been in other spots. He was in New Orleans. He's like, just in case Derek Carr gets hurt, which has happened. I think that's the other issue. But maybe a year or two, I think it could be 2 years from now before Jameis would ever be a backup in Kansas City. He'd be an entertaining backup, to your point, to have. But then he also went around and he talked to Chris Jones, Jameis Winston did at opening night.
You've been here before, man. You going for your fourth Super Bowl with this organization, man. What all of us really want to know here today, brother, is what's your favorite color?
He had Chris dying.
Favorite color is always red, man. Red? Do you be seeing red when you be sacking quarterbacks, man? Because you're not pleasant when you're in the backfield.
You know what? I see a red, man. I do see a red.
Okay, so when you push my right tackle in my lap, were you thinking about the sack or were you just trying to hurt my right tackle?
I was definitely thinking about the sack. Okay.
So that was Chris Jones having some fun there with Jameis Winston. Jameis was great the whole night. If you caught any of the social clips, it was
good.
on NFL Network. There's also, I think Bob and Dusty caught up with Jameis just walking real quickly in the hallway. If you go to our social media channels, the video's up there. Back to the future of somebody in this organization. How about Travis Kelce? Because he was asked where he sees himself in 3 years. So in fairness, he was asked given the year and all that.
The prompt.
But this is what he said.
Where will I be in 3 years? Oh man, I don't know. Hopefully, still playing football. I love doing this. I love coming into work every day, and I feel like I still got a lot of good football left in me. But we'll see what happens. I know I've been setting myself up for other opportunities in my life, and that's always been the goal. Knowing that football only lasts for so long, you got to find a way to get into another career, into another profession, and I've been doing that in my off seasons. But for the most part, I plan on being a Kansas City Chief and playing football.
When you couple that with the fact that Clark Hunt was asked about it, again, on the interview with Dusty and Bob this morning, which you can listen to over at thefan965.com, when you look at that, he said that he kind of expects Travis back. Like he suggested this isn't the last year. Now look, 3 years. He's not playing 3 years. That seems like the longest of long shots. But I told you, man, we've talked about this with players before. You got 18 million reasons to come back to work next year. Not to mention another chance at a Super Bowl, another chance to accomplish all the things, another chance to pass Jared, whatever, right? Whatever he wants to do. I don't think he's out of gas yet, but he made it clear a couple of years ago he didn't want his last year in the league to look like he was out of gas.
I don't know if he fully knows if this is it or not. I'm with you that 3 years from now, I doubt he's playing as well. But next year, what's the feeling like if you win on Sunday? What's the feeling like if you lose? I don't know if he even knows that yet. Is it, you think you have a chance to just ride off in the sunset? Is it also that, man, I can keep on winning? If I lose, is it, man, I can't go out like this? I have no idea. He may not know that. I think it would be interesting, though. Would he actually enter a season? Let's say he plays next year. Would he enter a season
knowing this was it?
Well, yeah, knowing it was it, and therefore playing on the final year of a deal. Or some people have alluded to on the text line, if he comes back next year, would you be surprised if all of a sudden it's actually another year extension and they lower the dollar amount just to help the team, but then he technically has another year? I don't know if we'll get to a point where he actually is playing on the final year of a contract.
Versus like they reduce his number a little bit this year in an agreement that, hey, if you decide to come back the year after, there's still more money to be had.
March 1st or whatever, right around March 1st is the roster bonus kicks in. Now, they can do a new deal by then. He can announce he retires by then. He could say, hey, I'm not sure yet, and they can restructure it to it gives him till June. There's a lot of different things they can do. That answer didn't change a whole lot for me. I didn't hear that as of, I'm playing 3 years. I also
it scares me a little sometimes when he's like, maybe 3 years. I hope I'm still doing this. You're like, oh, man, why are you saying it like that?
He's been open, though, over the last year about, like, he knows he's on the end tier, of the road. But I don't know if he knows the answer yet because he doesn't know how he's going to feel after Sunday night, good or bad. Hopefully it's good, but and what that means. Because there's an argument, I'm sure, in the tough decision on both sides of it. You win, you're like, well, why not? I can keep on winning. If you lose, you get the, like, do I really want it? This is the last taste I want in my mouth kind of thing. I don't know.
I mean, Jason Kelce left with his team falling apart in an NFC playoff game, retired, and I don't think he misses the game, but I don't think he feels like, oh, what have I done? He got asked about it because his team's back in the Super Bowl, right? You could see that you would miss it. Like, you could see, like, damn, had I just stayed. It's not like if Jason Kelce was the center instead of worse centers, they wouldn't be in the Super Bowl. That's crazy. They would obviously be back in it, and he'd have a chance to go out on top. I think for him, it's a lot of he still wants to be the man. He wants to leave the league still being Travis Kelce. I think I got a taste of that against the Texans. He's going to get another chance to get a taste of that against the Eagles. And even in the AFC title game, I know he didn't have a lot of receiving yards. You and I both pointed out he played a great game despite that.
He did. You mentioned Clark Hunt was asked by Bob and Dusty as well about Travis Kelce's future. Here's the quick answer he gave on that.
Travis coming back for another year? I certainly think so. I think he's enjoying playing the game. He's clearly one of the greatest tight ends of all time at this point, but I think he loves what he's doing.
I mean, that certainly seems like the kind of guy who's coming back.
A big performance Sunday also, I think, makes the decision to walk away that much tougher.
If you win 3 Super Bowls in a row, there is no scenario, really. I understand 4. Please don't just keep at, or 6 in a row. There's almost no scenario in which you can leave more on top than, I'm the greatest tight end of all time, 3 Super Bowls in a row. I guess it's time for me to the old dusty trail.
No doubt.
I think it might depend on how he feels a couple weeks after. I think he's going to have that, it is the postseason, you're trying to make a decision about your future. Talk to Jason, talk to Taylor, talk to your family, talk to whoever's close to you.
I think the part that you and I, in 95% of the audience listening, that none of us can actually have the answer to because we've never been in that spot, which is when you've played football your entire life, that is your whole life. And then you are trying to make a decision to step away and lose all of that. And that is a really, really difficult thing. And he's acknowledged you hear guys all the time talk about what they miss the most. It's not the games.
Oh, camaraderie.
It's the locker room mentality. Yeah, camaraderie and everything that exists there. So that's just something that is ultra tough to judge. And any former player we've ever had on the show, that's the number one thing they mention is oh yeah, I just miss being with the guys in the locker room. That's it. Versus you love the moments of lifting a Lombardi trophy and all that,
but it's not the same.
Yeah,
you can go work at ESPN. It's not the same as being in a locker room.
It's hard. People are bringing up Jerry Rice's record. I can't tell. He understands the history of the game, but does Travis strike me as a guy that's going to go chase records? I don't know, man. We all know he was willing to sit out games in Week 18 to not get 1,000 yards a year ago. I don't know.
He's always said no, but I don't think in the case that he sat out the season, he already had the record. The record existed. He had 7 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons as a tight end. The record was 4. He already had it. He wasn't chasing some fictional record. Yeah. I think he chases wins now. I don't think he's chasing some fictional career receiving yardage. I gotta think that one is different. Jerry Rice in the playoffs. And look, someone's gonna break your records one day too. But you're gonna go down as the single leader in NFL history in yards, touchdowns, and receptions receiving in the Super Bowl, passing Jerry Rice. Man.
I think the performance
that'd be a tough one to shake skipping on.
I think the performance on Sunday could weigh into it too. Does he have a great game and it makes you almost on one hand it's then I can definitely keep on doing this, or if it's a quiet game. There's so many different layers to this thing, and once again will be one of the immediate questions, win or lose, after the game Sunday, and then the weeks after, leading up to that March 1st or whatever timeline for a roster bonus.
Trash of the day.
A little later trash of the day.
Yeah, we had some Chiefs talk in there, and then 11 o'clock hour, so we pushed the trash of the day back a little bit. This one takes us to a fight that occurred at a Chili's.
Okay.
A listener actually sent me this yesterday on social media. So this occurred in Nashville, where there was a couple fighting. It caused such a commotion, the entire mall where the restaurant was evacuated. Okay? That's how bad this was. The restaurant was one of those that are attached to a mall. The whole restaurant had to be evacuated. The adjacent highway was closed in both directions.
Excuse
so
me?
here's what happened. Police were called to the Opry Mills Mall in Nashville on Saturday due to reports of gunshots fired. Eventually had the entire place cleared out while they investigated. The Tennessee Department of Transportation closed down the highway exits to the mall for the next several hours, even after police said there was no evidence that any shots were actually fired. Witnesses said there was panic as people sprinted out of the mall. Another woman said she was checking out the Bass Pro Shop when people came running through, yelling, "Everybody's got to go, everybody's got to go." This goes on to talk about how, I guess, essentially, a female reportedly came to the restaurant, assaulted her boyfriend who was working there. The fight spilled outside.
Damn.
That led to the calls of shots fired as people started to flee the mall. The victim of the fight at the Chili's is safe, but detectives are still looking into the initial assault and whether or not weapons were involved. So it sounds like there was fortunately no gunshots. But the fact that a couple, domestic dispute, I would say,
How you gonna go
caused
to
the whole restaurant and mall to shut down.
Okay, I've been kicked out of a restaurant, so
You
I'm
have?
not trying to pretend like not
As
for
like a
this.
teenager or what?
Yeah,
Oh.
like late teens, early 20s probably.
For
You know.
what? Like,
We don't
just
have to
rowdy?
get into,
Would you
well,
flip a table over?
No, I did not flip a table over. It's nothing like this, but things come up that occasionally allow for this.
Were you dating
Back
a
to-
waitress at the
No,
time?
I was not dating a waitress at the time. I can't imagine. Like, you're just going about your business, and they're so mad at you, they burst into your work and then just start assaulting you. Like, Dick, can we just wait till this gets home? Like, I mean, we don't need to fight like this anyway, but you can't come to my...
don't.
You can't come to my office. Now we're getting the cops called, and I can't work at Chili's anymore. Like, I got to find a new place to work. They're not going to let me keep working here if you're coming in here to beat me up.
What restaurant were you at? I want to hear more about your story, actually.
Why do you want to hear more
Were
about
you-
my story?
Did you throw chicken crispers across the restaurant?
It was a Denny's. I did not
Did you
throw
take a
chicken
baseball
crispers.
bat like it was a
It
grand
not-
slam?
I didn't ruin a grand slam breakfast. Just, sometimes things get a little heated.
At the
But you got
at
heated.
your waiter or the
Were you in the
waitress.
wrong? Were
I
you
was
in the
just-
wrong?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure we were. Yeah, I wouldn't deny that.
The order was wrong and you just
In fairness,
flipped your lid.
no. It wasn't an order. It was wrong. It was a group of people who were there. It had escalated to a level of rowdy that they were like, can you just get the hell out of
You
here?
guys are just loud
We
and
weren't
obnoxious.
fighting or,
Okay.
well, we weren't like physically fighting.
You were that group of people that was just way too loud, having too much fun.
And it wasn't even, I wouldn't say fun. Wasn't fun. But it was like loud enough that they're like, you got to get the hell out of here.
Do you have any stories? Your wife, I don't know if she still does or not.
She doesn't have any stories of people getting kicked out of Chili's, though.
Okay.
No.
She's never had to kick anybody out of Chili's?
No. I mean, other than, hey, you're staying here too late and we're closing and we'd like to go home. I mean,
I'll say
that doesn't
that
count.
is-
I don't know.
That is an underrated, awkward conversation to have with somebody.
yeah.
To be like,
Yeah.
Because you drop the normal hints for a while, you know.
Anything else? Can I get your check?
You polish a glass in front of them. You're essentially just like thumbing. You're just like
stacking chairs in the rest of the restaurant and they're still hanging out at the bar.
You have a
or whatever.
conversation, like you stage conversations nearby with the manager that are like, "Is there anything else you'd like me to do, boss? To close up? To maybe get out of here?
To close the place
You
up,
try
to
to
go
make
home."
it clear, and if they can't pick up, and you're like, it's time to go.
Yeah, it's a very rude thing. Yeah, very, very rude.
To stay late or for me to tell them to leave?
No, to stay late. Yeah.
Catch the signs.
Like if the Chili's is open till, in this hypothetical, till midnight, don't walk in at 11:55. Okay, like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, those people are those.
You're
are the worst
resigned
people.
to the Taco Bell drive-thru, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
It's still open. You know.
913-586-7965. You know where this is going, Cody.
Yeah,
Someone
text line
says
says-
Cody cuts people off in line and gets kicked out of restaurants. What a role model, the kind of professor I want.
Teaching kids what, maybe this is the semester I finally invite all the students out for a beer after, I'll be at the bar.
You didn't last semester?
Are they all 21 plus?
No, some
Well, then
can't
you
come.
probably shouldn't do that.
Well, I won't invite the ones who can't drink.
I don't know. Then it's going to turn into, they didn't invite you? How come they didn't invite you? Well, I'm not 21. They still should have
Well,
invited me. All of a sudden,
I'll just say those who want to go and are of age, I will be at
Do you think
Mike's Tavern. It's not called that anymore, but you get the point.
Do you think they want to go have a beer with you?
That I don't know. The fear of rejection on that is kind of strong.
All of a
There are
sudden,
some
there's
students
like
that
two
seem-
kids show up.
We
Well, and like-
still need to find somebody from this past semester, correct, Gold, to
come
come.
in
Somebody's already
studios.
offered. We were just waiting till after the Super
After
Bowl.
the
I think,
Super
to
Bowl,
have them.
I want to have a student
Beautiful.
of his come in studio and be honest. The grades are already submitted. I want an honest
This person has
description.
graduated, the
Be
person
honest.
who
What
submitted,
did you
so-
think when Cody first started the class? What was the weirdest thing he said? All this kind of stuff we got to find out. That's definitely a goal. All right. That's the trash.
This person said open until 10, which is true at Chili's. Last seating at 8:45. That never at the one
That's
that
a
my
little
wife
early.
was
That's
at.
a little
That is early.
If you're open at 10, I can still walk in at 9 o'clock. I think that's fair. As
Yeah,
long as
9:15.
There are people at 9:30 who would walk in that would
If
get
you do
served as
9:30
well.
and about it, that's pushing it, but you can get by
Tip
there.
better be good.
There you go.
You know,
there
you got to make up the difference.
That's true.
All right, our big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Member-owned, open to all, invested in you. Join today at CommunityAmerica.com. Up next, we go back down to New Orleans. Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic, tells us what stood out today from the availability, and we'll get his perspective on the rest of the week in New Orleans.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Missouri sports fans, I've got good news. Underdog is available to play in your state. The best app for the big game party is actually on your phone. It's called Underdog. Super easy to use. It's the only Champions platform that puts the power to cash in your hands, so you can either keep riding, tap win now, cash out whenever you want. I'm over there. I was just going through a little bit of the options. Maybe you like higher than 30.5 rushing yards for Patrick Mahomes. Sometimes you can pair up those. Hey, you like some of those, maybe you like Saquon Barkley to go lower than his rushing at 115.5 right now over at Underdog because Spags hasn't let a 100-yard rusher happen in 14 games. All those are options. With their Champions game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money by choosing higher or lower touchdowns, yards, interceptions. You can mix and match sports. Maybe you like the NBA a little bit tonight. All those things are available at Underdog. And with their double flex option, you can even take 2 L's and turn them into a W. Underdog is the best place to play Champions. Sign up, deposit now, use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. And if you're in Missouri, you'll get an additional $50 in bonus cash when you play your first $5 entry using that promo code TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. $10 deposit minimum. StandardsFantasy.com for terms and conditions. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Men, this is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And you've heard me talk a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk to you about your sex drive because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction. And if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating your low testosterone could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back the flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Heartland Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
When you have an expert financial partner invested in you, you can't help but feel like a star. Like the new graduate opening their first investment account, the small business owner proudly adding a new location, or the young couple buying their first home. At Community America, we're invested in helping members achieve financial peace of mind with products and services tailored to each stage of life. Member-owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
Hey, it's Karen with Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Ready to replace that roof? We have flexible financing options, 12 months same as cash, and don't make a payment for 90 days. And that's just one of many options we offer. Get on the schedule now with our in-house Consumer Credit Center. One call does it all for flexible payment options, affordability, and peace of mind. Visit shamrockroofer.com. That's shamrockroofer.com or call 1-866-932-3545 today.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime-forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER forward and back.
I was coined Almost Andy Reid when I was on a radio show, and it's stuck with me ever since. Renner Garage Door can help you not get stuck out in the cold this winter. Book your annual maintenance or get a free replacement quote today.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Get to the random question of the day here in about 12, 15 minutes or so. We're expected to connect with Nate Taylor. Obviously busy down in New Orleans. Chiefs media availability just wrapping up. So we'll try to connect with our Chiefs insider from The Athletic as he just got done speaking to multiple members of the Chiefs. He was also, of course, at opening night. We'll also, in the 1 o'clock hour, check in with Dusty Likins, who's been broadcasting live with Bob and Mac throughout the early portion of this week. They'll be there all week long, and so we'll have to talk some non-football stuff as well with Dusty. I've seen some photos. I've seen some videos. I got questions. I don't know if he's had a hand grenade on Bourbon Street yet or not.
Not sure.
That drink will get you, man. That drink
It's
will
only Tuesday.
get you.
Pace yourself a little bit, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, Nate, it's only Tuesday, man. You got to pace yourself as we head out to the Pheasant Fest hotline. National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic coming to Kansas City Convention Center March 7th to the 9th. Visit pheasantfest.org. How's New Orleans treating you, man?
Fantastic, fellas. We just had a little fireside sit-down chat with Clark Hunt amongst local writers, so that was cool. Now I'm outside, getting a lovely breeze. New Orleans smells both great and terrible at the same time.
It probably just depends on which corner you're around, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You smell.
Exactly.
What's your favorite New Orleans food? That's what I was going to ask you.
Traditionally, I like shrimp po' boys. Last night at 11:30, I had smoked gator sausage with onions and cheese and peppers. It was amazing.
Did you take some heartburn medicine before you went to bed?
No, I slept
Okay.
right through the
Good for
night.
you.
It was great. Which I guess tells you how healthy I am now versus how unhealthy I'm going to be by Sunday. For this game. But the best part in all of this is you ask questions, you get to talk to guys, you get to obviously be in a new city. There's construction and security everywhere. And then you're like, oh, I still got a job to do. I still got to write something. What in the world am I going to write? We've gotten this far. So again, it's a dream to be here. And again, thank you guys for having me on. And I can, I guess, report here because this is the medium I'm on right now. But Clark Hunt said, I want to say less than 10 minutes ago, that he believes Travis Kelce will be back next season. Now, the important thing here, ladies and gentlemen, is he says he believes.
Yeah.
But they're going to, from Clark's standpoint, the Chiefs are going to give Travis time after the end of this season. Now, what that means for everybody is March. The countdown really starts in early March because, that's when the new league year begins, free agency, all that jazz, starting to get ready for the draft. So regardless of how the game goes on Sunday, I think Clark Hunt's going to give Travis Kelce about a month to really consider if he wants to come back. And if so, will he play on the last year of his contract, or will he, will they, add a year onto it to create some level of flexibility for 2026? So that's the thing that came out today that I think is most interesting from Clark Hunt.
We're talking to Nate Taylor. He's presented by Mark Ferguson. We all make mistakes. Let Mark and his legal team make the best of them. 816-221-1750. It seems like this year, you tell me if I'm wrong, when Clark Hunt, does he always speak on Tuesday or so of Radio Row Week and Super Bowl week, I should say, because they were quick today, whether it was in your guys' media availability there or this morning Clark Hunt was on with the guys, Fesco and Dusty, that they got in front of this Andy Reid, Mike Florio retirement crap before it ever started.
Yeah, and I caught wind of that. I knew it even before, quote unquote opening night began last night. So it's one of the reasons why I tweeted it out when I did, because that was probably like the first couple minutes of just Clark being available to reporters. I know he was on NFL Network earlier last night, but yeah, can I just say it? Because of one idiot who has a pretty sizable, because of one idiot who has a pretty sizable, platform. God bless him. He worked his way to get it. But Mike Florio essentially created nonsense. And then I think 2 years ago, Jay Glazer on the day of the Super Bowl, because you have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago, Fox had that Super Bowl too. Why is this car honking? Basically on the morning of the Super Bowl, basically said, well, I don't know, Andy Reid could retire after this game, which was ludicrous at the time, and proved to not be true. So the Chiefs understand their positioning nationally. I think Clark Hunt has tried to demonstrate some good decorum in saying, look, guys, and he even said in this little fireside chat that, hey, that happened organically. I don't go to Andy, before the playoffs start, essentially, and be like, hey, you coming back next season? No. So they've already understood that. I wrote in The Athletic last night, look, man, the guy signed a contract extension through 2029. So you don't necessarily want this to be a Super Bowl storyline. But when we did ask Clark Hunt last night, that's why he gave one of the most definitive quotes I think I've ever heard from this man, because he doesn't really say, I know for a fact about anything.
Yeah.
Considering his role in the organization and obviously his standing within the league.
Nate, I know that these teams are obviously quite a bit different than 2 years ago. That's how the NFL works. Do you think this is a better matchup than the last time? Do you think that both teams are better? Both teams are worse? Philly's better? where do you kind of rack up like the generic before we start breaking down some of the real things in the game as far as where these teams stand from 2 years ago when they were obviously in an all-time classic based on the score?
Right. Yeah, I really think that question comes down to one particular player, and he doesn't wear a Chiefs uniform. How good will Saquon Barkley be at the very end of a historic season, literally carrying Philadelphia here? I know I've made quite the comparison statistically that, like, hey, nobody has carried an offense more at the quarterback position than Patrick Mahomes. I can make a similar argument that no skill position player in the league has carried the team more than Saquon Barkley. He is the one shining light difference between this game. Look, I know that we don't have Jason Kelsey anymore. I know that, Frank Clark's not going to play in this game. You don't have Willie Gay, to be an athletic freak in the middle of the field, or especially on the perimeter. Trent McDuffie's not a rookie anymore. But I do think the biggest difference is, does the burden not entirely have to be on Jalen Hurts? Because one of the differences, I think, from Sunday's game that we watched 2 years ago is that's the best – look, guys, that's the best game Jalen Hurts may ever play in his career, and it did not matter because Patrick Mahomes had one incompletion in the entire second half. So you can't ask Jalen to recreate that. You need Jalen to have Saquon be just as effective, just as much of a threat, obviously score in the red zone, get to your fourth and short play so that you can do the tush push. The Eagles didn't even get that opportunity really in the fourth quarter if you go back and you watch that game. So that might be the biggest difference. Outside of that, the Chiefs still have the best quarterback, still have the best head coach, still probably have the better defense. Like, Saquon's going to have to, again, cap a historic season in terms of a 17-game sample. He played 16 games, I understand that, and obviously what he did in 3 playoff games to just get here. Can you do what James Cook couldn't, which is like 2 touchdowns and like 125 rushing yards? If he can do that, the Eagles will have a chance. But I think he has to be the biggest difference between 2 years ago and Sunday.
What's your sense? I don't know if you had a chance to talk to Spags last night at media night or not, but just how they're going to handle A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, who were there 2 years ago, but they're better receivers. But the Chiefs this go around have Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson. Yeah,
I did get to talk to him last night. We did not talk about this particular matchup, but I know that he's going to be coy tomorrow because we'll get all the coordinators. We'll get the assistant coaches tomorrow in a more traditional setting than, last night's circus. But I would tell Jalen Hurts, hey, man, they're going to blitz you, and it might be cover 0 blitzes, which means it's man-to-man across the board. You're just going to have to throw 50-50 balls and hope A.J. Brown comes down with them. Hope that Devontae Smith can get open slightly on in-breaking routes, slants, digs, obviously seam balls maybe. You still have Dallas Goedert to sort of throw 50-50 balls up too.
Sure.
But I think we're going to see a very similar strategy from last year, right? I was terrified, just as an analyst, thinking like, you really going to man-to-man Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Juwan Jennings? And let's not forget about George Kittle and the idea of Christian McCaffrey just like roaming out of the backfield. And Steve Spagnuolo, to his credit, said, I dare you. I dare you to beat man coverage. And Brock Purdy could not do it enough to win that game. And obviously we remember the blitz to end regulation in the Super Bowl last year to where, hey, you can't even get in field goal range because I'm blitzing and I'm getting you out of it to where you can't run the clock off. It's a similar game plan, Jalen. You just have to be able to not get turned around by the blitz, but also throw the ball to give your guys an opportunity, because I just don't see how the Chiefs don't play man coverage again, given how successful they have been when they blitzed and had man coverage across the board behind it with a capable cornerback like Jalen Watson to be paired up with Trent McDuffie, similar to what L'Jarius Sneed did last year.
Nate, on the flip side, the Eagles, look, they've still got a good pass rush. It was right around where Kansas City's was this year, although the Chiefs really were without their second best pass rusher for a huge chunk of that. So I actually think the Chiefs have the slightly better pass rush. Do the Eagles have, or does any team, I'd asked this question in the previous round, so I'll ask it again. They got really good young corners, but they're young. Do they have the bodies to guard all the people that Kansas City will throw at you? Because, like, I made the argument yesterday, Not that the top 3 weapons aren't better for the Eagles, but instead that they were there. You all right, Nate?
I mean, yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay, I just hear somebody yelling in the background. I wanted to make sure.
No.
Okay.
Look, man, New Orleans is
it's a place.
Again, I'm just walking. I'm just trying to get away from like more noises, more drills, more honks, more sirens, and then I walk in the guys. The police officers, to their credit, are I guess keeping things safe by just having a giant presence and just yelling at people for no reason.
Okay. All right. So anyway,
stop jaywalking.
Do they have enough personnel to stop everyone? Kelsey, Worthy, Hollywood. We saw Juju last week.
Yep.
Kareem or Pirine out the backfield. I think that's what makes the Chiefs really difficult to beat.
The answer is supposed to be no. You gotta hope that Patrick throws you an interception or two. Because I think that's the only way the Eagles can really mitigate some of the disadvantages they'll just have on the field. They still, and this is not their fault, Harry Roseman's had 2 years and he's tried to make a stronger roster, and he has in a lot of different ways. And one of the ways to do that is have a younger, pretty effective secondary. I love Cooper DeJean.
He's a good player.
Yeah, they still don't have anybody to cover Travis Kelce. And that in lies the problem. Because if you give too much attention to Travis Kelce, like the Bills, well, yeah, there's Juju, just going right down the field, wide open on an RPO sort of play. If you try to put a lid over the Chiefs, which is essentially what the Texans did, then Travis Kelce can roam the middle of the field and, sort of nickel and dime you all the way down and get into the red zone. And then obviously, as one of the best highlights we've seen all year with Mahomes falling down and Travis finding the one void in the zone. So if you're Vic Fangio, who I want to remind people has never beaten Patrick Mahomes, and kid you not, kids, it ain't been close. He's known for blitzing. He's known for trying to be the aggressor. Well, okay, the Eagles have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. You are going to give one of those guys an opportunity on a blitz. You can't really do that with the Chiefs because they have more top-end speed. So they can go over to the top if you choose the blitz. I don't know what Fangio can do other than say, hey, Jalen Carter, Brendan Graham, if he comes back and plays on Sunday, can you guys just maul the living daylights out of this offensive line and pressure Mahomes with 4? Because it's the only time we've ever seen Patrick not be at his best, and he still had a marvelous performance, but the pressure was one of the reasons why the Chiefs did not score a touchdown in the against the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl in 2020. You're going to need to have consistent pressure with 4, which was something the Eagles could not do 2 years ago, even though they had 70 sacks in the regular season. Now, I believe those numbers were inflated because they weren't playing quality quarterbacks. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I don't think they played a quality quarterback really this entire postseason. Jordan Love is injured, and he stunk. Let's just be honest. He stunk based on what we saw a year ago. Well, okay, now we get Matthew Stafford in the snow. We have a clear advantage. He was not good for like 2 quarters, and then we get a rookie in the championship game. And I love Jaden Daniels, but like he's a rookie. At some point,
clock strikes
you're not going to see. Yeah, you're not going to see everything that Vic Fangio has to offer. Well, now you get the best quarterback, and he has seen it just about everything, and he has more weapons than anybody you've played so far. So, I don't know. I don't know. The Eagles need to play ball control, and they also need turnovers to keep this from getting out of hand. Because I can see the Chiefs getting up 10-0, 14-0, and the game script really squeezing Jalen Hurts into mistakes.
I know it can't be official till March, but how soon will you start reporting that you're hearing the Chiefs are trading for Myles Garrett? Just to add to this whole thing, huh?
I know some people reached out today, which thank you guys. I don't really see it. They got to pay George Karlaftis kids. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the contract would be, what you would give up. The Chiefs are also not in the business of like giving up a first-round pick. That is a Clark Hunt special. Do not give up first-round picks anymore because obviously the Frank Clark situation was a little bit different in terms of roster building. Patrick Mahomes still on a rookie contract. He's not on a rookie contract no more. So first-round picks have actually become super-duper valuable. It's one of the reasons why they traded away Tyreek Hill when they did, to get an additional first-round pick. You might have to give up 2 first-round picks to get Myles Garrett. And I just don't know if the Chiefs are in that sort of business right now, considering that they have the highest-paid tight end in the league. They have the highest-paid, defensive tackle in the league. Eventually they got to start paying some of those players from the 22 draft class, notably Karlaftis, McDuffie. I just don't know if the Chiefs' timeline works with the Browns' timeline in terms of, trying to get picks to restart their process.
Yeah, I'm with you financially. I mean, there's always Cooper Kupp. They can just trade for him, too, while they're at it.
He'll take way less.
Yeah.
Well, no, now this is where it gets interesting. Will Cooper Kupp get the same demand on the market, now that everybody knows about it, as L'Jarius Sneed? That's the question to me.
I think it's probably about the market. There are too many good wide receivers in the draft every year, Nate. Everyone shifted to that.
Right. And which is the same thing about cornerbacks. We are now learning that, hey, even though you play a premium position, there's another wave of young players who, if you coach them up right, can be pretty good pretty early on. One of the reasons why the Rams are trading, or willing to trade Cooper Kupp, I should say right now, one of the reasons they're willing to do that is because they've drafted and developed Puka Nacua out of the freaking 5th round. So can you get a 3rd-round pick? I think that's where the question sort of lies for the Rams. And if you're the Chiefs, hey, what happens with DeAndre Hopkins? What happens with Hollywood Brown? That's more of a viable scenario, a viable backup plan than, again, giving up multiple first-round picks for Myles Garrett. I think Cooper Kupp should go for more than a 3rd-round pick, but also he's older than L'Jarius Sneed, and
also
you can get a receiver. Yeah, and you can get a receiver, and we have history of maybe that wasn't the best deal, which is why Mike Berganzi is now tasked with cleaning it up.
I kind of say that's one of the greatest hustles of all time, Nate. To be a part of the organization that stripped an organization and then getting a pay raise to fix it. Like, you did this.
Unbelievable.
It'd be like if I crashed Alex's car, but then I convinced him to pay me to, repair it. Like, but you crashed it.
Yeah, or listed your couch on Facebook Marketplace and paid for someone to take your couch, Drew. That would be it.
That was tough. That was a tough day for me.
Yeah, it was tough. Hey, it's amazing, right? And they don't have a quarterback. I think that was the worst part of the deal. We're all happy for L'Jarius Sneed. He deserved to get paid. He'll have a full offseason now to sort of see what his next phase of his career is in terms of playing through, obviously an injured knee that has, hampered him at times, even when he was with the Chiefs. But you can't do that trade and not have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback, okay? Yeah. So for Mike Berganzi, and I think people in Nashville need to probably understand this, they might just stay at 1 and not take a quarterback. Because you know who did that 13 years ago? That was the Kansas City Chiefs. And you don't necessarily push the burden on a quarterback now when you realize, A, you don't have the roster to compete, and B, you know that there's not a good quarterback in this draft that's nearly similar to Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels or even Drake May for that matter. Drake May had a very good rookie season, comparable to historically what a quarterback can give you when they play, the majority of their games in their rookie season. Just take, Mike Berganzi, take the best player, start from there.
Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic. Enjoy New Orleans, man. We appreciate you calling. I guess based on what you said you had for dinner last night, get some gumbo for lunch or something.
Oh yeah, I know. I gotta find somewhere to eat, man, to crank out too many words because it's the Super Bowl. So can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do that? Yep. So happy to be doing this with you guys.
There you go. Nate Taylor joins us each and every week here on 96.5 The Fan. He's presented by Mark Ferguson. We all make mistakes. Let Mark and his legal team make the best of them. 816-221-1750. Look, if the Titans don't draft quarterback 1, that's fine. But I know, Drew, you were nodding your head over there. That doesn't mean Mason Rudolph should be the starting quarterback next year, though, man. That's not what that means either, though.
They shouldn't pay anybody else, though. They shouldn't pay Sam Darnold. They shouldn't pay Will Levis. They should stink again and get a quarterback next year.
But you can stink again and
you can stink again.
You can stink again and still start Jameis.
You also have a head coach going into
Jameis.
Yeah, you also have a head coach going into year 2. He knows if they win 3 games next year, he's getting fired. He just is. Your guy, Callahan.
I mean, if they know that it's Will Levis at quarterback, I don't know what else Bergonzi and company wants from the
Callahan will not get a third year if they finish with a 3-win record.
I understand
again.
that you have to know your roster, though. I think in fair, you're not giving your guy a fair
but
shot.
You mentioned it like
they don't care about a fair shot.
Go start and sign Jameis or somebody like can actually win some. Mason Rudolph, come on, like no.
Russ, Justin Fields. At least those are bad starters in which you're not going to win. But it's only going to take a 1-year deal and no risk.
Yeah, Russell Wilson would be brutal. Although the rumors are that he's going to Vegas, which I don't get.
The reason that I say that is what difference does 6 versus 3 make? If you're 3, at least if you're 3, you get
for a first-year GM and a second-year coach, it's progress. You can sell progress. That's all.
Yeah, but you still don't have the answer at quarterback. If you sign a guy for 1 year, it doesn't.
Next year,
you're moving backwards.
Next year,
like
maybe you're in position to mortgage your entire draft pick. You think the team is the quarterback away, and then you're willing to trade multiple picks. Right now, number 1.
Yeah, see, I'd just take a quarterback, and if I just Josh Rosen.
Take Abdul Carter, number 1.
I'd flush it. I would just take whoever at quarterback, and then if it didn't work, I'd flush it.
If I'm not taking a quarterback, I'm trying to trade back. Yeah,
no, that's what I said. I'm taking a quarterback, and if he stinks, I'm just flushing it and going back to the well again. I don't care about I'm not just taking some good defensive player. You know?
If they don't like Cam Ward, that's fine. I don't take Abdul Carter, who's supposed to be great. I would stockpile some picks. My organization is a long ways away from winning. That's what you're arguing too. So go ahead and trade back. And I think he'll be a great player. But
it makes sense for them to trade back, especially because they lost the pick to Snead. They don't have any. They have less picks than they had before, anyways, even amidst them not playing well.
That's very true. We'll work in a random question maybe in the 1 o'clock hour. We ran a little late there with Nate Taylor. Good stuff from New Orleans. Up next, though, we do have to let you know what Terrell Owens is saying about what the Chiefs are accomplishing, and we're going to check back in with somebody else in New Orleans here in 20 minutes. Dusty Likins. It looks like based off of social media, he's currently eating beignets. So, hopefully the cell phone is going to be covered in powdered sugar or whatever in a second, but we'll check in with him next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold once again, telling you about our friends over at Centric, and we've all been dealing with this brutal weather in Kansas City. Maybe you work outside, and look, you've just had enough. Well, you can start a brand new career with our friends over at Centric, because they allow you to advance your career on your time with their flexible schedule.
Classes start in February. You get to choose your curriculum, go with that new career path, and stop worrying about what the weather will do for you. Call our guy, Russ Mondry. He's been with Centric for 16 years and will be with you to guide you every step of the way. Go to Centric.com now.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
98 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of Kansas City has been repairing and replacing garage doors. Locally owned and operated since 1927. Headquartered in Olathe. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. For same-day repair service 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at ohdkc.com.
Kansas City is gearing up for their third straight championship title game, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during their historic run. Swing by your local Academy store today, or shop online at academy.com to find officially licensed team gear in game-changing styles. From jerseys and tees to hoodies and hats, all at prices you'll love. Get the best KC gear for the biggest game of the year. Shop Nike, 47 brand, and more Kansas City styles at Academy.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Are you tired of the hassle of finding parking at the airport? I've got the solution for you. Park and Go, your go-to airport parking destination with all covered parking. They've got you covered, literally. Park and Go is not just about protection, it's about convenience too. Their quick shuttle services get you directly to the airport terminal. Always the best service and always the best price at bookparkandgo.com. Open 24/7, fast and hassle-free. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
When it comes to protecting my family's future, I want a life insurance company that's at the top of their game. That's why I got same-day coverage through Ethos. There was no paperwork, no waiting around, and no medical exam. I just answered a few health questions online, and Ethos set me up with a $3 million policy for about $2 a day. Go to tryethos.com and get it done today. That's TRYETHOS.com. TRYETHOS.com. Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Fabric Talk. Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze Fabric Spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
It's football season, and now you can get anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. Well, almost anything. You can't get a running back, but baby back ribs? Yes. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Member owned. Open to all. Invested in you. Join today at communityamerica.com. Listen to the Chiefs and Eagles on Sunday with the official pregame starting at 1. Kickoff at 5:30 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFMZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold, our big game coverage on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Community America Credit Union. Member owned, open to all, invested in you. Join today at communityamerica.com. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon, 1 o'clock hour. Here in about 10, 15 minutes, we're going to check back in New Orleans. Dusty Likins from Fesco and Dusty. They've been broadcasting live throughout the week already. We'll check in with him. As I said, I saw a photo. He's, I'm assuming it's Cafe Du Monde. I don't know where else he would be with the beignets. I'm sure other places sell them, but Cafe Du Monde, that's the famous place down there. So we'll check in with him, find out how the rest of the day is going, find out what he thought about the conversation that they had with Mike Florio, and of course, just the plans and the scene. Have they seen a lot of Chiefs fans yet already on a Tuesday down in New Orleans, or is it more Eagles fans? We'll find out.
Well, I'll say the reception last night at Media Night didn't seem overwhelmingly like, woo! But as you remember last year when we were at that same Media Night for a Chiefs Super Bowl, because that happens every year, it was boos.
Yeah, Vegas.
Straight up.
San Francisco's not far from Vegas.
Straight up
yeah.
booze. And so, like, I don't know. I mean, we can get kind of a vibe for it, see how the city's feeling. But yeah, I'd always question at least a
I
little
do
bit.
wonder as a fan, and you guys tell me if you've gone to the opening nights as a fan before. Opening night as a fan, like,
Better on TV.
It's better to just watch on NFL Network, isn't it? Like, you're not getting special access.
I guess it's like if you're planning on spending the entire week there, you want to do everything that has anything to do with the Super Bowl. You're down there for the first time. You want to go to opening night. You want to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go to the Super Bowl experience. I think
That's not open yet, though. Like,
no, I know. But I'm just saying,
week.
like, I just think if you're going to be there all week, you want to do as many things associated with the Super Bowl as possible.
If I was living in the host city, like if I was already living in New Orleans, yeah, I would go because why not? I just wonder, like, who's getting there and who's getting there a whole week? Like, the media gets down there all week. Who, as a fan, is getting there on Monday and staying a whole week? It's a long time. It's also very pricey. It's a long time.
You got the money to go to a Super Bowl. You got the money to spend a week
If I'm
there.
going to the game, I'm probably just flying in later in the week.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. Tell me. You guys tell me. Text line 913-586-7965. We've had enough of these now where there's got to be somebody that's listened that has gone to the media night or the opening night.
And did you think it was worth it?
Yeah. Someone says Cafe Beignet has been the better spot than Cafe Du Monde. Cafe Du Monde is the famous one. Doesn't mean it's better, but you have to admit, at least Cafe Du Monde is the more household name of beignets in New Orleans than Cafe Beignet.
I mean, but their name's Beignet.
Cafe Du Monde's the famous one.
You tell him, text line. Cafe Beignet. That's who
I'm just telling you. I've been to New Orleans. I do know that I'm not saying it's better, but Cafe Du Monde is definitely the name one.
I'll say of the 40 media members who you and I know have been down there, I think 31 of them have already posted a photo from Cafe Du
Of
Monde.
a beignet? Yeah.
Of a beignet from Cafe Du Monde.
I'm surprised you haven't brought it up. I'm surprised you haven't said, I could make better beignets than them.
Never tried to make a beignet.
This would have been a good week to bring some beignets in, Cody.
Well, how
Bring some
hard are
beignets
beignets
in.
to make?
I don't know.
I gotta fry them. That's a pain in the ass.
Fry and then bring some powdered I'll bring the powdered sugar.
I feel like Cody, this is a challenge. You're supposed to be all about this.
It depends on the week. I'm also trying to memorize a Kendrick Lamar song, and
You're running out of time.
I have not made enough progress, unfortunately, in being able to repeat that cadence yet. I'm trying.
Maybe you could.
Are you redoing Humble?
No, I was trying to do now.
Sit
like
down.
that.
Hold on. Be humble.
Oh, man.
Who am I telling to be humble? I don't be humble about anything. You root for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
They get to be the opposite of humble.
I'm
So we'll check in with Dusty. We'll get his review. We'll get Dusty's official review of the beignets from
Cody's going to
Cafe.
remix Cameron's song Kill a Cam.
Upon
That's
looking
what
at
you should
this,
do.
I actually don't think beignets would be terribly difficult to make.
So
maybe I can make beignets.
We'll talk to Dusty in just a second about that. Terrell Owens, former Eagle, played with Andy Reid.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl. We all know the story.
Well, I slept in a hyperbaric
That's right. To get ready
chamber or
for
whatever
that
it was,
Super Bowl.
right? Yeah.
He was on a podcast the other day with Cameron, who has two podcasts. It was the It Is What It Is podcast, as we quickly did some research and discover which podcast it was. He was talking about the Chiefs, and I'm disappointed in T.O. because I thought he would have his guys. I figured he'd have his guys back. Andy Reid's back. Not alleging that it's all rigged.
I wouldn't bet against the Chiefs. Like I said, and with the refs. I just honestly, with all the calls.
Say the refs.
I've been talking
about the refs too. They niggas acting like they can't hear.
Bro, it's crazy because I played the game and I'm watching the game and I'm looking at all these calls that that's benefiting the Kansas City Chiefs. Look at the game before against the Texans, bro. Like Mahomes is smart. He dinking around. He causing the flag. You know what I mean? He's getting the benefit of it. He didn't even get hit. 15-yard flag. The guy, Will Anderson, barely hit him. That can stop the momentum of the game.
Yeah.
At that point in time, the Houston Texans were in the game. Those calls right there advances them, gives them extra downs. It changed the whole complexity of the game.
Do you think this has been going on all season with Kansas City or just as recently? With the referees.
You can even go back to the last couple of Super Bowl, even when the Niners played the Super Bowl. Look at all the holding calls. If you watch that tape, bro, it was crazy. They were getting clotheslined, and they were not calling it, bro. It is blatant calls that were missed, like obvious.
That's the word I've been looking for. Blatant. It's blatant, man.
Bro, it's blatant and obvious. Like it's unreal. And I've never thought. I've texted him. I'm like, I never thought I would say that. Thought games were rigged or somebody got some plays in it. Bro, it is unreal at the amount of calls that are not called against against the Kansas City Chiefs that are called against everybody else. I wouldn't bet against.
T.O.
Game's rigged?
No.
T.O. rigged?
I didn't expect that from a player that also played under Andy Reid. Like, you're saying that the run he's on is rigged? That's disappointing. That's really disappointing from T.O.
Is he just trying to say stuff? Are you trying to press Cameron? What do you got to press him for?
It sounded like Cameron might have pressed T.O.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I think so. Do you subscribe to the It Is What It Is podcast, Drew?
No, but Cameron's got one of the greatest rap songs of all time.
Which is?
Kill a Cam.
Oh, well, naturally.
Okay, I didn't know. I mean, he's got a lot of songs.
The beat is also, the instrumental is fantastic.
Can you beatbox that beat for us?
I don't think so.
No, because I would need the sample. I would need the...
Me too.
I can beatbox to the sample, but I need the...
Give us something.
Sample. Oh, what do you mean? Like what it sounds like? I need. Okay, let me pull it up.
Poor Dusty doesn't even know what he's walking into. Why is he like the?
Hold on. Let me go call Dusty and then I will.
Okay. Oh, I think I told him 115. So you're
okay.
We're good.
All right. Well,
the ones,
let me pull it up then.
The ones that get me are former players and former coaches or current players and current coaches. You are in the league, D'Amico. Like, I lost a ton of respect for him, right? I lose a ton of respect for you if you come on with a take of, it's rigged. The whole thing's fixed.
Yeah, that's where I can't take you seriously
kidding?
anymore.
Like, look, if you think that good teams get more favorable calls than bad teams, the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. I lose respect for you when it's like, I can't watch this anymore. They just call anything for
he even went back to the 49ers Super Bowl, too. He went all the way back to that, too.
Yeah, God.
It's not even just this year.
Yeah,
crazy.
We hadn't heard from T.O. in a while. Maybe, like you said, maybe he was just trying to get some attention Super Bowl week or something like that.
I think he still thinks that he can play.
That was the thing for even 2 years ago.
All right, you want me to?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it. Sounds better with the beat behind it,
It does.
Nice, Drew. See?
Oh yeah.
Well done. I didn't know that's your guy. I didn't know you were a big fan.
Who's your favorite rapper?
My favorite rapper is Logic.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Kendrick Lamar.
No, he's up there.
Sunday. We'll do some prop bets on that later in the week.
If you're ranking rappers, I don't think Logic is in the top 10 rappers of all time, or like he's my favorite. But if we're doing the best rappers of all time, Kendrick Lamar is top 5.
Yeah, but I just meant your favorite. Like, who do you listen to?
Kendrick is up there as well. J. Cole's up there. Not Drake, sorry.
Good. This is an
I do like Drake.
Taylor
like
Swift
Drake's
took her
music,
stand.
though. It's fine.
She was absolutely getting down to not like us at the
She was
Grammys.
toasting.
She made her stand on that. End.
She screamed out A minor as well as it went to when the whole crowd was at the Grammys. She was part of that.
Yeah, the glass raised and everything, toasting to Kendrick Lamar. Goodness.
That's right. Okay, text line. That is a wild text. That is a wild text.
Pause.
From the 3755. You know who you are. Wild text. 913-586-7965 is the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line. What'd you say?
I said you need Jesus in your life. You need some.
Oh my goodness.
Questions. Who raised you?
We'll have Dusty joining us in just a second. Someone says Drew's favorite rapper being Logic is so on brand, bro. LOL. Okay.
POP, baby. Peace, love, and positivity.
Don't tell Drew whose favorite rapper can be.
No, they said he's on brand.
Oh, on brand.
Yeah, they just said that's very, very on brand. That's all. All right, we're gonna be joined by Dusty on the Pheasant Fest hotline, National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic, coming to the Kansas City Convention Center, March 7th through the 9th. Visit pheasantfest.org. Got disconnected.
The phone didn't even ring. So
those beignets are, he dropped the phone in the powdered sugar.
If he's it's 1:13. You cannot be so drunk you can't pick up your phone at 1:13.
There's no way he's drunk. He's not drunk. He just sent a photo 15.
I say that as a person who was once drunk in front of our boss.
I don't know. He just sent a photo
Super
out
Bowl trip
15 minutes ago. His fingers probably right now as he's picking up his phone are just covered in powdered sugar. We go down to New Orleans.
Relax.
Dusty Likins. What's going on, man? What are you doing currently? Are you still eating the beignets?
No, me, Bob, and Mac are on a balcony. I'm getting ready to cross off another food item, the crawfish etouffee. I'll give you a little sound. I don't know if you guys can hear the sound. I went inside. Can you get it? Can you get a little bit of the bands playing?
No,
Not
unfortunately.
quite. Okay, they quit right when I did it, so that's great. All right. There is half-naked people everywhere. This is awesome.
Yeah, have you collected, how many beads have you collected?
7, and I got them all in the last 5 minutes. I don't know what it is about Bourbon Street, but, man, they are just, dude, it is just, it's freaky, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, everywhere you turn, there's a guy with a downward arrow tattoo from his forehead to the tip of his nose. He's probably not getting a job anytime soon. I mean, there's half-naked people. It's nuts, man. But it's fun, right? I mean, I know the temperature changed drastically overnight where you guys are at, but it's a humid 73. I'm not mad about it.
Wow, yeah, I'm very jealous of
Pretty
that.
good.
That's no question. What's the breakdown?
Yeah, how was Miami?
Yeah, fair enough.
Nice.
What's the breakdown early? I know it's still Tuesday, so this is going to change if we ask you again on Friday. But right now, Chiefs, Eagles fans, what's your guess on who's got more down there this early in the week?
Well, it was crazy, and I don't know if you guys remember this from last year when you were in Vegas, but, like, there were a lot of other fans there last night. Like, there was this one joker. He was in, like, a Clay Matthews jersey from the Green Bay days. And when Travis Kelce got on the stage, he was booing and kept saying, how about the refs being on your side? Like, dude, you're in Green Bay. Like, why? A, why are you here? B, like, why do you care? You're in the NFC. But Philly Chiefs, when we walk the streets, Bob's wearing that funky captain's Chiefs hat or whatever. It's 50-50, dudes. It's like 50% of people are like, three-peat, and then the other people are like, go Birds, and then Bob just barks back in classic Fesco fashion and spells Eagles wrong, and then they laugh. So it's like, we get them every time. It's literally every time it happens, they're like, go Birds. Bob spells Eagles wrong. They laugh. They know they can't say anything, and we go on our merry way. But respectfully friendly now, but I bet that changes as we move on.
What's the living situation right now? I saw the video last week. Are you truly sharing a bed with Mac? How's this all working out?
No. You wish, Cody. But no, that's weird. I don't know why I just said that. But no, it's pretty cool. It's like Bob's got his own place, 2-bedroom, kind of like a lofted living room. It looks like a loft, basically.
All right.
Mac and I each have our own bedrooms. We're separated. There's a couch that, I mean, it'll give you scoliosis in a matter of days. So we don't really do a lot of sitting on that. And then there's, a little chair, a little TV, and thank you to Maurice, whoever he is. He forgot to log out of his YouTube TV account, so we're able to watch TV.
Good for Maurice, not even logging out when he's checking out of Airbnb.
Are we sure that's not the host
you talk
account?
About doing nice things for people because you never – what's up?
Are we sure that's not the host YouTube account that he just leaves for the guests?
I mean, it's a hotel.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were at Airbnb.
We're not at an Airbnb. And then what's funny is I'm dead serious. You think I'm going to be lying, but his login in my bedroom is just Daddy, and it's Netflix. So I've been watching Daddy's Netflix the whole entire time I've been here at night. It's great, dude.
I can send you the Daddy Day song if you want to get in the mood.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I got to pace myself here if I need to do that. But it is nice for the guy. Yeah, Maurice. We're like, what are we going to watch? And there's like all these like old reruns of like Cheers and like Saved by the Bell. Bob was like not complaining, and Mac and I are like, well, the Spurs and so are playing. You can live bet here, Gold. Love this opportunity.
There you go.
Can't get enough of that. Now I know what it's like to live in Kansas.
That's right.
You can just live bet in like 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. Teams down by 4. Take the opposite side, still lose, but it's fun to do it in time. So that's been great as well.
Did you get the same sense at media night last night upon looking at the stuff that Mahomes just seemed bored with it? Like he borderline just didn't even want to be there. Like, okay, I'm going to go through the motions on this one. Because a little bit of the on-the-stage stuff as he came out, there seemed like a point of where he seemed like he was ready to just move past this one.
Yeah, the analogy I gave today on the show with Bob and Mac was that he seems like the dad who's now had the kid for like 3 to 4 years, and going to see Santa Claus is now just a job, and it's annoying. So, like, now going to media night, because, like, even Travis Kelce really wasn't that, like, hyped up. Like, last year, I think he fed into the villain role a little bit more, kind of got a rise of the crowd. Chris Jones brought it down last night with a huge ovation. But you guys, I mean, you're seeing exactly what we saw. Like, he came out, just looked like he was bored. Was like, why are we here? I'm going to get asked the same stupid questions. We're going to go through the same stupid stuff with Chris Hansen. Check that. Scott Hansen. And take a
That's a
seat.
different
take a seat
person
right here.
to see in your room.
Yeah, you don't want to see that guy. But no, I mean, like you guys said, I think he's just. I brought this point up earlier today because I think the first trophy they won was for Andy. I think the second trophy they won was for the city, and then the third one was for the family. Right, the grandmother and the mother had passed away. Lamar's been gone for a while, and this one kind of seems like you've run, which is a great problem to have. You've run out of people to give it to. And you go back to the audio where Mahomes is talking to Chris Jones after the last year's Super Bowl in 58, where he's like, we're not done. Let's go win one more. It's never been done before. This one kind of seems like it's for Patrick. And you can't make that stuff up because, the family gets the trophy from John Elway, who had broke their hearts for many years. And now Tom Brady's going to call this game, and Patrick Mahomes can do something that not even Tom Brady ever did. And it's kind of like you just get this feeling that, out of all of them, which is tough to say, but out of all of them, this is the one that Patrick Mahomes is like, that one. I want that one. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, you're right, Cody. He's definitely, locked in. He's more eager to get to Sunday than anybody else.
We're talking to Dusty Likins. He's in New Orleans. You guys have been hearing him already to start this week. All their coverage, social media from opening night last night. And all our guests are brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, drink responsibly. We played some audio of your Mike Florio interview, which was great because we all know the backstory with Clark Hunt saying that, Andy's, factually coming back next year. It's a fact. Then Mike Florio's columns the last couple of years. What did you make of Florio's answer to that? We felt like he was just backtracking throughout that entire answer to you guys.
God, he's so good, isn't he? He's so good. He's and when Bob brought it up, he got the finger out. When the dad's kind of trying to be right, but kind of knows he's wrong, but he's trying to, like you said, backtrack. He's like, first off, I never said he was going to retire. And I mean, that's when you cross the leg up. And you're like, keep going, Mike. Keep going. First off, you were like, well, there were interests, and they got to know, and they got to work contracts out. I'm like, where the F was Andy going to go? He's like, no, you hear him talk, and then, he kind of brought the Travis Kelce talk this year, and he's like, well, he's got so much money and all this. It's like, hey, Mike, he already sold his podcast for $100 million, probably receives half of it or a little less than that. I don't know. I felt a little bit of I got blasted last year. But, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. I also got a vibe where he's just like, I don't give an S. You can have your opinion of me or not. I don't care if I'm hated or not. I give you information. You read it, deal with it. It's kind of like,
that makes me dislike him. Yeah, it's too arrogant. And it's just like, I guess I wish I cared as little as people thought about me professionally as he seemingly does based on those things. But also, just ask yourself a question. I'm not even a reporter. And ask yourself the question, if Andy, over a contract dispute, is the kind of person who would walk away from football because they didn't meet his number. Come on. That didn't even pass the smell test. You're not an idiot. You've been around the game for 30 years.
Yeah, he also said he'd still take Belichick and Brady over Mahomes and Reed, so whatever that means. But he said he'd take Brett Veach, but, however much sense that makes.
But Belichick was also Brett Veach, so, I guess.
Yeah, he had the same role. No,
yeah.
People are asking, though, Dusty, before we let you go, then we'll let you get back to, I don't know, beignets or whatever the rest of the day is for you. They want to know they wanted to know what happened this morning on Radio Row. I guess there was a lady or two in the area you didn't go and say hello to or something. That I'm supposed to ask you about that.
Oh, no. Well, Kay Adams is there. She's right behind us. We've talked to her producers. We're setting something up, whether it's a 5-minute on video. You can find it on Instagram. Or if she sits down with us, we might also do that as well. So this is weird. I don't know how much time you have. So last night we're waiting to go into the media. I see this gorgeous blonde walking our way in all black. I mean black, Daddy Gold, black. And I'm like, man, that looks like Paige Spiranek. But I've never seen Paige Spiranek in person.
No way.
Dude, I look at Mac. I'm like, dude, is that Paige Spiranek? And he's like, she looks familiar in all the photos you show me, but I don't really look at her face. I'm like, thank you, Max. So then all of a sudden we get inside. I see the same thing. There's this bro with a Peter Millar vest. So there's a golf giveaway. I go up to him out of the kindness of my heart, and I'm like, hey, was that Paige Spiranek? His response just like this, yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm not a creep. I'm not going to do anything. I was just going to see if we get 2 minutes. Well, we did meet Maggie Sajak, and You can't ask back this. On the way out with thousands of people at media night, she comes back our way, makes eye contact, looks at me, goes, "Nice meeting you. Have a good night. How you doing? How you doing?"
Oh, God.
Look at you, Dusty. All right.
Oh, man.
All right.
And here's some more gold. Here's some more gold for you. She was at the same place eating beignets with Bob Mack and I. They can all back it. If you think I'm lying, I'm not telling the truth. There's a word called fate. I don't know what's going on.
Did you
We
say
got 5
hello
more
to her
days.
while you're
Roll the
eating
dice.
beignets? Like, did you
No,
lick
they were
the
doing
powdered
they
sugar
were
off
doing
your
like a-
fingers and say hello?
No, I had powdered sugar in my nose, and there was no way I could go talk to her. Plus, I had food in my teeth, so it looked like I was just jacked out. So I was like, maybe there's another time. But she was doing something for, like, Wheel of Fortune, shooting this huge, like, promotional thing. So, but no, it's been cool. It's been great. Hurricanes are on the table, I guess, and we'll see what happens next.
All right, before the week's over, you probably need to wait till Friday, because Saturday night you don't want to be hungover for the Super Bowl. So Friday night, get a hand grenade if you haven't already on Bourbon Street, please, and you'll thank me later.
Yeah, there's a place right now across. It's called the Tropical Isle, and
Perfect.
it says Home of the Hand Grenade.
That's right, Dusty. Now, you need to not be working the next morning. That's the key, though.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, well,
maybe I'll get a beignet, or they say, like, "What'd you do all night?" "I just had a beignet." Sure you did. Your voice against mine.
There you go. All right, man. Appreciate the insight. We'll check in with you and Bob later on.
Sounds good. Peace out, fellas.
There you go. That's Dusty Likins having a good time down in New Orleans. No, the hand grenades, you cannot have one of those or two of those and then think the next morning you're going to just pop right up out of bed and be
What are
good to
they-
go.
Hold on.
Unlikely.
I've never had a hand grenade before. I don't know what's in there.
It's a
Is
giant
it-
drink full of
Looks
alcohol.
like a tall, like it's a grenade
Yeah,
at the
the
bottom.
same as
It's
like
all-
drinking jungle juice, man. It's just like
jungle juice is bomb.
Here's a bunch of alcohol and
it's a
juice put
cocktail.
into a giant.
It's a cocktail with rum, gin, vodka, some liqueur, and
That sounds like my drink. That sounds like a drink that I would enjoy.
Here's the exact description. The hand grenade is a famous cocktail originated in New Orleans, French Quarter. Yeah, gin, rum, vodka, and melon liqueur. So yeah,
that's got me written all over it.
Maduri or whatever, or just
it just said, this one just says melon. I don't know, but yeah, that thing will knock you on your rear. So.
Dusty's a pro. He knows what he's doing.
All right, up next, we'll get to what's trending, and then we'll get some insight from Philadelphia and how they're feeling. Fox 29 Philadelphia, Eytan Shander joins us here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Missouri sports fans, I've got good news. Underdog is available to play in your state. Underdog is the best place to cash in all your takes during the big game. Which players are going off? Which ones maybe aren't going to come up to the number? Make your entries in just a few taps and see how you could become a champion. Look, I've got some in already, right? I got Patrick Mahomes to go higher than 219 half passing yards and Devonta Smith to go lower than 69.5 receiving yards. All of those are available over at Underdog, where you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats, yards, touchdowns, interceptions. Choose who you think are going to do those, package them together, make those entries to win real cash prizes while you watch the big game. Underdog is the only champions platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. Now you can either keep it writing or tap Win Now to cash out whenever you want. And every dog deserves a second chance. With Underdog Rescues, you get your money back and receive a promo if an early injury causes your entry to lose. Underdog is the best place to play champions. Sign up, deposit now, use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. And if you're in Missouri, you'll get an additional $50 in bonus cash when you play your first $5 entry using that promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. $10 deposit minimum. See UnderdogFantasy.com for terms and conditions. Consider your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Winter is more than half over, and things are looking up. But before we start thinking about spring lawn care, I'd like to ask you to look up at your trees. This is Larry Ryan at Ryan Lawn and Tree. And right now, before the leaves fill in, is a great time to find and take care of old storm damage, remove dead branches, and carefully prune trees for better growth and storm resilience. Now is also when you can save 15% with our winter rates. Our team of master pruners and certified arborists is unmatched in both skill and care. And at Ryan Lawn and Tree, they're also employee owners. You're not just a customer, you're their customer. I think you'll be impressed with the difference that makes. So will your valuable trees. Take advantage of our winter rates and enjoy 15% off all tree services when you book before March 1st. Call today or book online at ryanlawn.com/tree.
I fall in love with you more every single morning.
Babe, you're my favorite. My heart belongs to you.
At Shane Company, our fine jewelry says it all without saying a word. This Valentine's Day, give a gift they'll love. We have pieces you can personalize or classic gifts that are ready to go. Shop our collection of meaningful gifts, like necklaces engraved with flowers and a message of love. Or give timeless diamond studs or a stylish 14-karat gold chain. We have so many romantic gifts, no matter your budget. Just call us Cupid. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Make Gates Barbecue your go-to for the Big Game Watch Party. Whether you're the host or a guest, the Big Game Watch Party won't be complete without Gates Barbecue sauce and seasonings. Gates seasonings go great on popcorn as a fun topping for dips or sprinkle on chips for that extra flavor pop. Nothing says the big game like a Gates party tray. Stop by any of their 5 locations and pick one up. You'll be the hit of the party. Spice up your Big Game Watch Party with Gates Barbecue. We still do it the old-fashioned way.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products, we've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A Gain Scent Bead story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing." Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max used for adults only.
O'Reilly. Shop Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts and get up to a $15 gift card after rebate. O-Reward members can also get a $5 reward with their battery purchase. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Twin Peaks, Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Applied today at bakeru.edu. #1 on What's Trending. It's day 2 for the Chiefs, or day 3, I guess, technically, for the Chiefs in New Orleans. Opening night last night. Earlier today, Clark Hunt was on with Fesco and Dusty and confirmed that Andy Reid is going to be back in 2025, although in Kansas City, as we know, we expected it, but it ends any national narrative that may or may not exist every Super Bowl week. They also had Mike Florio on their show. If you want the full interview, it's up on the Odyssey app and, of course, 96.5 The Fan's website. But they're healthy, too. Andy mentioned in his media availability today, no new injuries or anything like that heading in.
It was his personal opinion, obviously, on the matter. But the fact that he had also said that he kind of thinks Travis Kelce's coming back next year did pique my interest. That being Clark Hunt who said that. We'll see whether or not that is the case. But yeah, Andy confirmed he's going to be back next season. Everybody expected him to be. Next up on What's Trending, Kansas got a 69-52 win over Iowa State last night at Allen Fieldhouse. It was domination from the Jayhawks. K-State beat them down earlier this weekend. Iowa State in a bit of a Kansas free fall here lately. K-State will try to get back-to-back wins. Their chance to get in the NCAA tournament still slim after their good win against Iowa State. They got a lot of work left to do. They'll play Arizona State tonight at 9 o'clock right here on your home for the Wildcats. 96.5 The Fan.
And lastly, on What's Trending, Bills All-Pro safety Micah Hyde announced that after 12 years in the league, he is retiring from the NFL. They're going to rework that defense, it looks like, in Buffalo to begin with. And this is just probably not unexpected news for friends up in Buffalo. That's What's Trending here on Cody and Gold. Earlier today, we were joined by Eytan Shander. He's with Fox 29 in Philadelphia. He also is analyst over at Odd Shopper, so we asked him about one of his favorite bets. But he joined us on the Pheasant Fest hotline, National Pheasant Fest and Quail Classic coming to the Kansas City Convention Center March 7th to the 9th. Visit pheasantfest.org. We started our conversation talking about, hey, can we all agree, no matter what happens here, we're not blaming the field or refs this time around?
Well, while I will concede, fellas, and it's a pleasure always, and great to hear your voice, Cody, of course, and Alex. But let me just say this. They're all playing on the same team, field, pardon me. So the conditions, I get it. But you will deal, and it's not my fault, and I can't do anything about it. No matter what, it is inevitable that there will be a call. Like, it doesn't matter if you believe in conspiracies or not. The fact is, the stone-cold truth is that there will be a call that goes Kansas City's way at some point in this football game, and that's going to open up the floodgates. I'm already preparing for it here because I can't deal with 6 months of off-season excuses of, oh, well, they had to beat the refs again. Don't watch the football game if that's what you think. And I've told people that in Philadelphia, mind you.
Is Nick Sirianni more likely to go the DeMeco Ryans route where it's like, well, I told our guys we were screwed from the beginning, or, the classier route, which is just, sometimes things get out of your way?
I mean, I think he's best when he's getting out of the way, right? Like, I think that's truly where Nick Sirianni is at his height of being able to facilitate a winner in the NFL. When he's had to step in and coordinate, when he's had to step in, and even when he's lost, technically that's what happened, control of the offense and is now a game manager in its loosest sense, the more he gets involved, calling a timeout, it can be a 2-point conversion. It can be going forward on 4th down versus kicking it, things that don't look like they're consistent. That's where I think he could get in trouble. And look, let's be honest here. As great as a record is, I mean, it makes me sick where people are now coming out and saying like, oh, well, he and Andy Reid and, Bill Belichick are the only 3 to do this. And it's just, it's ridiculous because it's not just putting out a stat. It's putting him in an area that he's just really not. I'll tell you what he is. He is a great friend of these players. He is a great connector of these players, and he has found out. And I think this is something special that not enough people bring up because they're too busy propping him up as the next Andy Reid or Bill Belichick. But one thing that Nick Sirianni does really well, guys, and I think maybe he took a page out of Pete Carroll, maybe he didn't, but he's able to relate and connect with people on an individual level on that team to where no matter who he's walking around in the locker room, he has a special relationship with that player. And maybe the argument is, yeah, well, because he doesn't have time to, game plan and call all these. Whatever the case is, he's found that, and he's tapped into that. And I think that's why you see these guys so loose and so excited to play for him.
We're talking to Eytan Shander, Fox 29 in Philly. All our guests brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of your Kansas City Chiefs. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Drink responsibly. We were having a discussion earlier looking at the Chiefs' run in the last couple of years here, and where does this Eagles team stack up in terms of the toughest opponent? I'll ask you just on the Philly comparison from 2 years ago. Is this a better Eagles team than 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think the biggest reason is Vic Fangio, right? I mean, you guys looked on the other side of the field 2 years ago and you saw a couple of bozos. One of them, I think, was gone by then, right? I mean, think about this. Say this out loud. The Eagles ended a Super Bowl run with Matt Patricia as the defensive coordinator. And what chance did they have, right? It doesn't make any sense. Vic Fangio is heading to Canton, rightfully so. I mean, this guy's a master coordinator, and he's got a ridiculous defense, even better. And I hate to say it because nobody respects Steve Spagnuolo more than I do, that you will talk to, at least in Philadelphia or beyond. Love Spags. But what Vic Fangio has done is just led, I think, at least ranked an overall better defense. So it's going to be 1-2. I know I'm splitting hairs here, but that's the biggest difference. I think we saw what happened from an offensive standpoint, right? Jalen Hurts in this offense can get hot. You guys know that. Saquon Barkley is probably the other answer. Maybe I buried the lead, but I think the defense is going to be the reason why the Eagles compete or even have a shot in this game, not necessarily Saquon. But Barkley on the other side and what he's been able to do is a cheat code with the offensive line.
We know that, defensively, it was the defensive line, right? They had set a record for sacks in a single season by a team a couple of years ago. What is the strength of their defense now? What do they hang their hat on?
I tell you, this defense, and it feeds back into why this team is better, this defense is more complete. They're every level, they have somebody who can just dismantle you. And that's rare. And I think what you're seeing also is a balance of the youth infusement, right? And you can look at Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell in the secondary, and these guys have really stepped up as rookies and just played exceptionally well and fit right into what they've asked. And that helps when you've got young guys in the defensive backfield that are essentially stoppers, right? They're like centers, not Joel Embiid, another center in the NBA, right? That can actually protect the rim and give you an ability to take some risks. We've seen, Braun has reinvented his career in 1 year. The guy came to play special teams. He's a Pro Bowler. And, we have to talk Jalen Carter up front. This is a menace of a human being, and he is a disruptor. He is a massive disruptor, and he doesn't stop talking on top of that. So Vic Fangio has luxuries. He has the liberty to take some risks. Vic Fangio has some freedoms now because he's got all three levels of that defense really, I think, on an equal plane of being able to attack and dismantle depending on what they go up against.
I think last week was Jalen Hurts' best game of the season. What's the feeling in Philly around his play this year and I guess the confidence that he can take the load? Because we know 2 years ago, a lot of people believe he outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl despite losing.
Yeah, I think the fumble, right, is what people come back, right? They come back to, sorry. I think the fumble is what people come back to. And they say, well, that was the biggest difference between Mahomes and Hurts. Look, this is how much we care about the Super Bowl. I got a toddler in the background crying, and I'm on the interview here because this is what matters most.
What's the toddler mad about? Maybe we can help.
Well, my 3.5-year-old kicked a chair, and it happened to hit him on the head. So he's fine. Everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. Don't worry. But I think when you look at Jalen Hurts overall, and you look at this offense, this team can do so many special things that I think the overall impression and feel is don't make a mistake. And you know what? Sometimes that means taking a sack or three. Sometimes that means don't take a risk down to Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. So I actually think you'll see a concerted effort for him to move the ball in the air. We talk Dallas Goedert would probably be an obvious target, Smith as well in the secondary. But I think you're going to see more of the same which is let the guys make plays, don't force throws, and probably take a couple of sacks. I think the fumble is the biggest thing driving Jalen Hurts from 2 Super Bowls ago, because you're right. That was the difference. And I don't care who you are. You go up against LeBron, you go up against Mahomes, you go up against Brady, you go up against any Jeter, any GOAT, and you're that close. And now you get a shot again? How does that not stick with you? How does that not drive you?
So I think internally, like, people always ask the question, right? Does the 3-peat become a distraction? Do you go for these things and become bigger than that? Can that happen to Philly? Can it go the opposite way where they're just like, well, we got to take down Goliath, and you can oversell yourselves? Like, can Sirianni or the team get themselves in trouble trying to win more than just a game, but instead stop a dynasty from being a 3-peat?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, right? Like, I think this team has the history of being there 2 years ago, and I think that's where that might balance out enough of it. And I think that's a really good question. I don't disagree with it as far as it could happen. I think, honestly, if they get undone, if they get beaten, if there's a loss at the end of the night, don't blame the refs. The Chiefs are just a better football team. Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time, and I think settles that with what he's able to do. So I think, yeah, maybe they did get a little too ahead of themselves, and maybe it was the extra week, or maybe it was the fact that they really are buying into themselves too much, and they didn't have that sense of humility that they did the first time around, at least with the offense, right? And they just lost because of bad defensive coaching. So I think there is some of it. And look, if that does happen, it's going to be obvious, because Nick Sirianni is going to be undone. He's not a good poker player, fellas. He can't hide his emotions. And that's why he has Big Dom, the security, the chief of security, is his basically babysitter, right? I mean, that was public reporting. So I think that's the issue, is your question is going to be answered on the body language of Nick Sirianni. If they're down 10-0, if they're down 13-0, if this is something where it's like, what's going on here, and he's undone, then absolutely. I think you go back to the fact that this was a moment that was simply too big for him, even though he was just here 2 years ago.
Before we let you go, Eytan, I know you got to run. You do great work also over at Odd Shopper. So give me, from a Philly angle, give me the best Eagles bet that even in Kansas City we should be making.
Well, the best Eagles bet ever was the one that I gave out on April 29th, which was 17-1 to win the Super Bowl, but nobody can bet that anymore. So I tell you what, I'll have some fun with you guys. I'll give you a quick little parlay here. It's a little over 23-1. This is the I like Kansas City to win parlay, same game parlay. You ready?
Let's hear it.
All right, under 110.5 Barkley rushing yards. It's dipped a little bit, but it hasn't dropped a ton. Over 55.5 Worthy receiving yards. Kareem Hunt anytime TD. Chiefs money line. Over 49.5 Goddard receiving yards. And then the kicker in here is over 9.5 Juju longest reception.
Ooh, the Juju. Okay. Interesting.
Just watch him in the AFC title game rip off a couple of those, I guess.
That's right. Look, and okay, if you want just solo ones here, I think the two best ones that I like are Devontae Smith anytime TD. The Eagles are going to have a lot of opportunities, one-on-one coverage. Kellen Moore, I know he's gone, but he's going to be creative with Devontae, and I think they get him the ball quick, and there's going to be some deep threats there too. So he's a guy I take a look at as an anytime. And then Worthy to catch a pass in the Chiefs' first drive. Looking at script, Marquise Brown, I know they're trying to work him in, as you guys know, from a script standpoint. But what happens when stuff breaks down and you have to move away from the script? There may not be a better receiver when something breaks down than Worthy. And I also think, too, that there's a chance, the run game and lack of, he could probably get a quick throw to him. So I like him to catch a pass in the first drive for the Chiefs.
Eytan Shander, Fox 29 in Philly, also with Odd Shopper. Appreciate it, man. Great to hear from you. I guess maybe we'll be doing this every couple of years the way it's working out now.
Let's hope.
So that was Eytan Shander earlier. All our guests brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Kansas City gearing up for their third straight title, and Academy Sports and Outdoors has everything you need to rep your team during this historic run. A lot of people on the text line taking issue with the comment about Vic Fangio, and it's fair to a certain extent, which is...
He's just saying he's better than their last guy, which
better
is
than
not
Matt
wrong.
Patricia, and he's right on that. I think nobody here is concerned about Fangio because Mahomes is 8-0, though. That's what it is. But yes, is Vic Fangio a better defensive coordinator than Matt Patricia? Of course the answer is yes. That parlay I might have to put together, though.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm always happy to trail if it seems like it's fun. I went ahead and found, because the NFL officials have spoken, It's official.
They've spoken.
The NFL officials have spoken about all of this controversy as it surrounds the Kansas City Chiefs and the refs clearly, obviously, favoring them in order for them to win games and become the NFL's greatest dynasty. Statement from Executive Director of the NFL Referees Association, Scott Green. Quote, "It is insulting and preposterous to hear conspiracy theories that somehow 17 officiating crews consisting of 138 officials are colluding to assist one team. No crew works even more than one game of a team, one single crew, in an entire calendar year."
Boom.
He called it insulting and preposterous.
Good for him.
So,
again, the referees need to be better, but he's 100% correct about if you actually think that the refs are conspiring for the Chiefs to win, you're an idiot.
And then the very first response is by some guy who calls himself Raiders Mitchell.
No.
He says roughing the passer calls during their 9-game win streak in the playoffs.
And then you get the
Chiefs 0,
then
opponent
you get the
6. Roughing unnecessary roughness calls. Chiefs 1, opponent.
Then you get the standard response, which is this is exactly what 17 officiating crews would say. You know, it's like
Travis was asking why people are into it. Or into the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to decide the fate based on previous Royals things, but 17 and 138 sounds an awful lot like 17 and 38. And we're bringing back Fetty Wap for the game on Sunday.
I mean, Drew already beatboxed earlier. Why not? You know,
he's playing some Logic. We'll have him beatbox to some Fetty Wap. Let's call it a day.
Did you know there's a new song out from a listener? Sent us a song.
No, I didn't.
So there's a listener.
Dude, if this is as bad as this
Matt
Etheridge one, I'm going to be mad that you played this.
Matt Hansen sent this in. Now, Matt knows you sent a song in open for critique, my man. But let me play a little bit of this.
Okay,
we played Melissa Etheridge last week, you know, and
let me hear it.
You ready?
Mm-hmm. To start.
Lift up your eyes. We're here to reign again. Chiefs Kingdom rise as we claim another win. The heart of America beats red and gold. It runs through our veins down into our soul. Can't drown out the sound of our victory cries. Chiefs Kingdom rise.
I don't know.
All right. Finally, someone bringing some toughness to the songs, you know? America!
Arrowheads alive, feel the fire in our soul.
No soul.
I can dig it a little bit.
It's well produced.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I can dig this a little bit.
The lyrics stink. P.U. Under the lights. That look, well produced. Can't argue.
I've heard way worse. I mean, it definitely feels like a little America. Like, yeah.
It definitely has that
but,
energy.
you know.
Bleeds red and gold.
Chiefs Kingdom rise.
Oh, guitar solo.
Oh, you know?
Oh, you like that?
Nah. Okay, that's lame as hell. Come on.
I mean, Cody, you're never gonna. I don't think unless. I mean,
I said musically it is very well produced, better produced than my songs. Because I make them in the back.
Deal with it.
That one I hate.
Deal with it.
If you made me listen to Melissa
I don't
Etheridge
think
for that one, I'd probably take that one.
I don't think that song from Matt was all that bad. I really don't. I think you're hating a little bit. But that was better than the Melissa Etheridge one for sure.
Let me tell you, it is.
I'm not playing it. Don't worry.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you a little something. That's never a good song's never started that way. A strum of the guitar. Let me tell you a little something.
That was well produced. It had a different sound than what yours typically has.
It kind of sounded like rock from it sounded like like the Nickelback heyday rock from 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Someone just had someone better rhythm with you. Could deal with it.
Deal with it. Deal with it. All right.
I take offense. It's better than anything I've ever done. I didn't take better than some things I've done, but not ever.
All right, we're back at it tomorrow. We're expected to have former Chief safety Tyrann Mathieu join us on the show. That'd be fun to catch up with him. Plus Ross Tucker. It's also going to be a day in which we'll talk a little bit more about Jalen Hurts. Where does he stack up in this entire quarterback conversation. We talked so much about Allen, Burrow, Lamar. Well, where's Jalen Hurts going to fit in if he gets a ring or if he never gets a ring? That's coming up tomorrow on the show. Up next, we hand things off to C-Dot and Rob right here on 96.5 The Fan.
Cody and Gold.
And sleep well.